Good morning, everybody. It's 7 a.m. on Friday, August 27th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 86. Coming up on OTB, presented by All-Star Toyota, Richard Dixon is in studio from 7 to 9 a.m., and we're joined by ESPN's Ian Fitzsimmons at 8:30 to talk some college football. We also had the latest edition of Big Deal or No Big Deal coming up at 8 a.m., and Megan Making Money of Barstool Sports will join us in the third hour. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel or on Cox Sports Television. Make sure to subscribe and set your notifications. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, and welcome in to Off the Bench here on a Friday morning. We are ever so close to having actual football games. We have got week 0 coming up this weekend. It is almost that time. Of course, T-Bob is not Lake Bob right now. He is Beach Bob, but he is not here. But that is okay. Richard Dick Dixon, I don't know who that Richard Dixon guy that Mario said was on the show is, but Richard Dick Dixon is here. What is up, Dick?
Man, I'm feeling good. Watched my first football game last night. Ocean Springs.
Go ahead, yeah. Give out the score. Let them know exactly.
44 double overtime against Clinton. You know, to beat Cam Akers, old high school, number 5 team in the state. So it's a hell of a way to start my weekend.
All right, so there you go. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Of course, Mario and Danny here with us as well. Mario mentioned that we got a fun show. We're going to see if Mario doesn't sabotage in Fitzsimmons yet again like he did yesterday. Of course, we got Big Deal or No Big Deal coming back. We've got Megan Making Money. A lot to get to here on a Friday, the eve of college football. So let's go ahead and dive in to your headlines brought to you by Barbecue Guys.
OTB Headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Barbecue Guys, for those who are born to grill. Visit bbqguys.com to learn more.
All right, LSU football news, a game that we already know is taking place, but we found out a little bit more information about it. LSU, of course, will take on the USC Trojans in 2024's Vegas Kickoff Classic. USC will be one of 2 Pac-12 teams LSU will face in 2024. The Tigers will host UCLA in Tiger Stadium on September 21st that year. The LSU-UCLA game was originally scheduled for August 31st, but that game was moved so they could accommodate this USC game in Las Vegas. So the Pac-12 joins an alliance, and what do? Well, they play
schedule money-making games for
SEC games in Las Vegas.
I thought that was the best part of it. I mean, wasn't it like within 24 hours after they announced
it?
It
wasn't even 24 hours.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I love it. I think that game will be like more traveled to by LSU fans than really the Rose Bowl. This game coming up.
I think it was. I mean, this game had some feel that it might move to Vegas just because you didn't know exactly where some numbers were going to be.
And they do a bunch of crazy things.
I don't know. I think people are excited to go to the Rose Bowl, but this is also something that
I can see people
outside of
making
Jimmy
a
and Charles,
vacation
because we know they'll be there.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are wanting to go to this.
You're talking Memorial Day weekend. I mean, my favorite thing about Vegas is we usually go every year around November, around the Breeders' Cup, and getting in the sports book all day. They open up this college football for breakfast at 9 a.m. You watch it all day long. I think that'd be huge. I think that we should all start planning to get a bunch of guys up there for that one, and I'm excited about it.
Well, you mean we need to tell Flynn right now so he can have
Flynn's in Vegas right now.
Built-in excuse.
He's already in Vegas. Just tell him to stay for the next 4 years, and we'll meet him up there.
Yeah, I don't count on him doing anything that helps out others. All right, in other NCAA football news, West Virginia Mountaineers President Gordon G. believes college football playoff expansion is on life support. G serves on the College Football Board of Managers, which is set to meet September 28th to discuss the proposal. The 11 presidents and chancellors who serve on the board have to ultimately have the authority on this format, and right now, it being on life support, G said that they have to have a unanimous amount of votes, and he has one of the votes, and he's not voting for it. And he also said, I think the Big Ten will not vote for it, and the Pac-12 will probably not vote for it either. So the 12-team playoff that a lot of us were excited about looks like it being on life support, let's go ahead and call it officially dead.
They're mad about the SEC. You got Texas, Oklahoma joining it. They're going to do this alliance. Why wouldn't they want it? Because you're talking about a Pac-12 team that's only sent one team ever to the playoffs. They need as much expansion as possible just to get somebody in there. The Big Ten, outside Ohio State, have they gotten anybody else in it?
Michigan State got in 1 year.
Okay, Michigan State got in 1 year. Okay, West Virginia ain't never been in it. So why would they not want expansion?
West Virginia's in a desert right now with the other 7 teams
they don't know
that are
where
left
they're
over
gonna
from
be.
the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, I don't know why they wouldn't want it, unless they're just trying to hurt the SEC, because with the expansion in the SEC, you go to 12, the SEC's probably going to get 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah.
And I think that they know that there's more money coming into them. I think right now it's just they're all pretty upset about everything that's going on, the alliance, and that's probably what killed it, because before any of this came out, it seemed like it was a foregone conclusion they were going to a 12
I feel like
team.
they were on right there at the finish line about to make.
Everybody was all in, and then you start having this conference realignment stuff, and now all of a sudden nobody wants to do it.
All right, in Pac-12 news, they say no to expansion at this time. Not going to add a team. The Pac-12 will not pursue expansion at this time. They said in a press conference on Thursday, ending that speculation about whether the 12-team league might try to add any of the 8 schools that will remain in the Big 12 after the eventual departures of Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC. This was a unanimous decision from the Pac-12. At first, I was surprised by this. And then when you take a step back and you look at the TV deal, right, and you say, okay, they've got a, let's call it $1.2 million TV deal. Do any of the teams that you could potentially add left over from the Big 12 move the needle enough to make your TV deal go up so much so that you don't have the other teams saying, wait a minute, you're taking too much of the pie. That doesn't make sense for us. Our stuff is getting cut in a third because we're adding Oklahoma State. Now, if you added Oklahoma and Texas before the SEC did, then your TV deal goes from 1.2, let's say, to 1.8, whatever that might be, right?
The key word is at the moment. Nothing was going to change this year anyway. I think it just ends all the talk. It ends all the questioning. They don't know what they're doing right now. They don't know what's going to happen as far as like the realignment, the alliance, whatever's going on. Texas, Oklahoma aren't going to be there until,
Let's say 2025.
Unless something falls apart, so which will happen. But I think that means nothing. I mean, that's just in the conversation. We don't know what we're doing right now because, no expansion at this moment. Well, nothing was changing this year anyway.
And so you look at schools like TCU, you look at schools like Baylor, you look at a Texas Tech. I mentioned Oklahoma State, and right now the Pac-12 says, you don't better us. You don't better our TV deal, which you don't better the money, and we're not going to take a look at you. So what does that leave the Big 12 to do? The Big 12 is sitting there, and if you add a Cincinnati, a UCF, an SMU, a Houston, what in the world does that do for you? I mean, yesterday when I was on ESPN, we had a caller call in, and he was an Oklahoma fan. He goes, you know what? It was getting hard to get up for even Bedlam. It was hard to get up for Oklahoma State because the atmosphere just wasn't that great. He goes, now I get to get up for Oklahoma, Alabama, Oklahoma, LSU, Oklahoma, Florida. And I was just sitting there thinking, he goes, you know what? And I'm not a fan of Oklahoma State, but I follow them because I live in this state. And he goes, how in the world am I going to get excited for Oklahoma State SMU? I said, you're not. It's not going to happen.
I mean, that's like his welcome to the SEC moment. I mean, I felt like we get up for a game every weekend. It's sad about Oklahoma State because they've had good teams. I mean, Mike Gundy's put a hell of a team together. They've had great players. I think that's one of the teams that might bring a little bit of value, the amount of booster money they have over there as far as getting picked up by another school or another conference. But, SMU, all those other schools, I don't know what ends up happening to them. Texas could probably have their own division of all the smaller schools and just keep it in-house. But, I'm excited about Oklahoma coming over there for sure and just make the SEC stronger.
Ooh, there's going to be some away game situations for Oklahoma and Texas with those schools that felt like they just got left in the dust. All right, in LSU soccer news, we told you they had a ranked matchup yesterday. Well, they won that matchup. Midfielder Maddie Morrow played the role of hero. She scored the winning goal with 31 seconds left to secure a 2-1 victory for the LSU Tigers. They are now 3-0 on the season. That win came against number 15 South Florida on Thursday evening. The win marks the 4th time in program history that LSU has secured a road win against a top 25 opponent, and the first, Richard Dick Dixon, since 2012.
That's pretty good.
Coach Sean Hudson has that team playing extremely well. They played well in the spring. They're playing well now in this fall. That's a program that's got some juice to it.
Have you been to a game yet?
T-Bob has been to a game. T-Bob and Alice have been to a game.
Oh, he told me about dollar hot dog night or whatever it was.
He only got 3 before they sold out. He should have known better.
Yeah, he should have got a 5-pack to start it. Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I've heard good things, mostly through your radio show. But we met the coach a while back this summer when she was starting to move in there in the spring.
Yeah,
she came by the house, didn't she?
Her
while we were there,
plays for my flag football team.
That's what I was about to say.
Stud.
That was the first thing I remember when you had her on the other day. I was like, oh yeah, she was over at the house when we were over there.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. It's a great place to take kids to. We used to take go out there a good bit. I want to take the kids to a game coming up, and I'm excited to see them keep winning.
All right, so obviously we've got some weather coming here in South Louisiana, and the Saints do have a preseason game against the Cardinals. That game is on Saturday, and I'm sure Mario, are you going to be on the call for that game?
Yes, supposed to be.
All right, Mario will be on the call for that game, but they are watching the weather that we have here in South Louisiana. They're supposed to make a decision Friday. So today, what time? Do you have a time maybe, or just anytime Friday morning?
Oh, yeah, depending on, when more pertinent information is released going around the storm. But they're trying to make a decision sometime today during the day.
All right. Obviously, they are in touch with city officials, the National Weather Service, Homeland Security, and the NFL. So if anything breaks with the Saints-Cardinals game here on this show, obviously we will update you. In other Saints news, they work out 3 tight ends and a pair of defensive tackles. Tight end Woody Brandum, tight end Daniel Helm, tight end Gabe Holmes, defensive tackle Damian Square, who actually, I do know Damian Square. He had a nice couple of games for the Chargers. Eddie Vanderdoes is the other defensive tackle. Dick Dixon, can you play tight end still?
I'm probably more sized to play D tackle now. But yeah, I don't recognize any of those guys. I figured they would be signing some tight ends, but they got 2 hurt already, and they're not sure how long they're going to be out. I don't know any of them. I assume that they're going after a pass catching role, but good luck to them. That was the worst feeling in the world when you're in the NFL and they were starting to bring people in at your position.
Oh, the worst.
As you walked out to practice.
Oh, you'd walk out to practice, and they'd always do. I think they did this
on purpose. They wanted you to see.
It would be the side field. You'd be walking out there like, wait a minute, why's he got his hand in the dirt? Why is he wearing number 44? Oh, hell, that's a fullback, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd be walking out to practice, and I could see the tight end coach over there. I'm like, man, they're already working out other guys. Or they'd either do it right before practice or it'd be right after practice. You'd be leaving the practice field, and you'd see them walking 3 tight ends out there.
So don't expect any of the 5 med to be on the 53-man roster. Square would be the only one because he does have some experience. But they're working 5 players out because of the injuries that have started to pile up for the New Orleans Saints. All right, and more NFL news. This one was a little unique. The Baltimore Ravens traded rookie cornerback Shaun Wade. Remember, Shaun Wade and his father were big in the Big Ten getting football played. Shaun Wade was someone that if he came out the year before would have been a first-round pick. He fell a little bit in the draft. They're trading him to the New England Patriots for a couple of draft picks. The Ravens received a 7th-round pick in 2022 and a 5th-rounder in 2023. A source told ESPN the Patriots have been thin at cornerback with the number 1 option, Stephon Gilmore, still on the physically unable to perform list. So not often do we see rookies get traded. The last time I'm thinking a rookie got traded was our guy Charles Scott.
That's the only person I can think of, and he was traded for some picks just like that. I'm wondering where Shaun Wade was drafted because it's just rare when you start seeing a guy that was drafted this early on especially like New England Patriots, they won on their team. Another thin at quarterback to give up 2 future picks to get a guy that hasn't played an NFL regular season game. It's interesting.
Yeah, he's got the talent to be a first rounder. Did not play well for the Ohio State Buckeyes a year ago. Last year, obviously, was a really different year. No offseason. Big Ten didn't think they were going to play. So he does have some talent. We'll see if the Patriots, because of the Patriots, can probably get the most out of him. All right, that's going to do it for headlines. When we come back, it is week 0. We are about 28 hours away from kickoff to the college football season. We'll break down the week 0 slate when we come back here on Off the Bench.
If you were born to grill, you have to go to Barbecue Guys for all your grilling and outdoor living needs. With the largest selection of top grills and outdoor products and best-in-class customer service, Barbecue Guys has it all. Visit bdqguys.com. That's bdqguys.com. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, go to DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com. Once you get there, you're going to find a full list of services for DG&B, which is everything. Doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how big, and they're set up for success. Right across the street, if you need an oil change, you pull right in, you get it done. If you need body work, they got specialists. If you need paint work, specialists. Anything that you need done, frame repair, like it does not matter. They do it. And when you go check them out in Donaldsonville, they have got it set up. I mean, they have got a compound out there. That way, they can take the best care of your vehicle, right? You don't have just a shop where you've got cars on top of each other. You got one guy in the middle who does it all, and you get backed up, and your car's there for months. That's not the case over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure that a specialist works on your car. So no matter what you've got going on, if you've got a question, DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com, you can actually start a text thread right there on the homepage of the website. Of course, you can always pick up the phone and give them a call, 225-473-6495.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045 ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, middle relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045 ESPN.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hi, this is Charles Hannegriff. Join Jimmy Ott and myself for the Friday morning edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Ruffino's and we're previewing Week 0. Jimmy Ott's Game Time presented by Bet Rivers, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in, OTB. I'm going to do my best not to say hanging with Hester. Almost said it twice in the first one just because you're here.
Well, that's what we're doing today.
That's true, but I've never said it since I switched shows. And now with Dick Dixon here, it does feel like that is what we're doing.
Well, that's perfectly fine with me.
All right, we mentioned it. It is week 0. We do have some football. Is it the sexiest slate in the world? No, it's not. Let's be honest. But it's football. Again, if you listened to me and Hanny last year, we were more than excited to get Central Arkansas and Austin Peay. I think I watched every snap of that game, and I know it was during the pandemic, but also we were just so happy to know that college football was going to be played. So I'm not going to take any of these games for granted, even if it is UConn and Fresno State.
No, there's no doubt. But I'm more excited just because UCLA, you get to watch a warm-up game for who you're playing the next week. That's probably the only game I might watch this weekend. Well, I'll watch a few high school games in Mississippi, but I'm excited just to watch UCLA, watch the offense. Chip Kelly, what's it, year 3 or 4 he's in?
4.
We thought that he would have a faster start. They got a good quarterback, so I'm excited to see that. But I really want to see how the defense plays out and just kind of start mentally game planning for LSU.
UCLA has a talented quarterback. He's one that can get it done with his legs, with his arm. He's been injury prone and he's been a little inconsistent, but he does have the ability to go out there and make some plays. So I just want to see him with an offseason, because last offseason, we know what it was. And so last year he only threw for 1,100 yards in 7 games, abbreviated season, all those type of things. 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Okay. But now you've had a full offseason. Now you're going against a team in Hawaii with Todd Graham as their head coach. He's been a defense coordinator, head coach, all over the place. He is a really good coach with a great resume. He's going to put a good game plan together. How do you react to that game plan? So that's something I'm paying attention to, because when you look at Chip Kelly and you look at what he's done since he's left Oregon, and in fact, he had one nice year for the Eagles as well. It has not been good. In fact, it's been pretty bad. You go and you start to fall off with the Eagles. You go to the 49ers. That was a disaster. And I think it's fair to start to question, okay, you were 46-7 at Oregon, 33-3 in conference play. At UCLA, you're 10-21, 10-15 in conference play. And I think it's fair to ask the question, were you having so much success because you were innovative and you were doing something that nobody else was doing? Because I always tell the story. We were so good in high school at Evangel because we were 5 wide in the late 90s and nobody else ran more than 2 receivers. Yeah. We were unique. We threw the ball all over the place. When you played us, you had to prepare for something completely different. Well, Oregon kind of had that feel as well. Like that type of pace with that type of offense, they were really the first one to master it. Other teams had tried it, but they mastered it. Okay, now everyone does this. Now everyone runs a version of the spread. They run a version of tempo. They do all the things that made Chip Kelly successful at Oregon.
Yeah, the times have caught up to him. I mean, I feel like if he'd have stayed at Oregon when he just had everything rolling, he could have probably gotten to that national title. I mean, he did get to 1 loss. I think he could have dominated, but I think he jumped the NFL. He had that good year with the Philadelphia Eagles because he was still innovative at that point. He just wore himself down with the players. The players were tired of him. He practiced them a lot harder than they were used to. Then he gets moved over to San Francisco, doesn't do a great job there. And then it just seems like he just kind of washed up. I mean, I remember at one time everybody thought he was going to be the next Florida coach, and we were all talking about that and getting nervous. But I just don't see where he's really done anything new. It's just been slow, and he hasn't been able to get the guys to work the way he's used to.
All right, so you're also going to get an opportunity in we've talked about it, the last 7 weeks. It feels like you're going to get the opportunity to see exactly how they want to attack in 2021, offense and defensive-wise. You're going to get game tape. Hawaii is an opponent that you have to respect enough. They're going to have enough players. They certainly have the coaches where you can't just roll out day 1 install and beat them. That's just not the way it's going to be. So you're going to get an opportunity to see exactly what they're trying to do. And as Don brings up inside the Bayou Forward chat, they don't really know what LSU is going to do because you have 2 coordinators that are brand new. Right? You think you know what Jake Peetz is going to do. What are you going to go back? You can try to watch Carolina Panthers? Are you going to go watch Alabama when he was there? What are you going to watch to get an idea of what he wants to do? Also, Durante Jones. You got a pretty good idea of, the formations he's going to have, but what's the scheme going to be? Well, you don't really know. So I kind of go back and forth. Everybody I talk to, and I've tried to ask this question. I've asked it to Rick Neuheisel. I asked it to the J-Boy yesterday when he was on. Doesn't matter who we have on. And it's kind of split. It's split which one you favor, to be able to go out there, play a game, see what it looks like, knock the rust off, or your LSU, you get to sit back after your scrimmage on Saturday. You get to watch this live, and then you get to get the coach's tape, and then you get to really break down exactly what the scheme's going to look like. I realize that both coordinators for UCLA are the same. Obviously, Chip Kelly's the same. But as you know, there's something every single year in offseason that you're going to implement into your scheme that's different from the year.
Well, there's
before.
no doubt. I mean, that's every coach is trying to grow in the offseason. They want to add something what's best for that team. They saw their weaknesses last year. I can't remember what show it was on this week. One of the guys on your station had a West Coast UCLA guy on, and he said, well, we're still trying to figure out what Chip Kelly wants to do on offense. And we're talking about year 4. So, I mean, they don't know what they're going to do. You're going to have your ups and downs. I think there's pros and cons to both ways, either playing a game to knock the rust off or sitting back and, getting game tape on them. But I think that, it's just whoever is staying healthy, because at this point, Chip Kelly's got a game plan for LSU that he's not going to show Hawaii. So, I mean, you can get some things. You can get, I think, an idea of what they want to do. But, Chip Kelly's got an idea of what he's going to do for LSU, and I guarantee they're not burning those plays against Hawaii.
I'm just telling you, if you're Chip Kelly, you cannot just sit on whatever you want to install for the next week. I just don't think you can.
Yeah. I just don't know much about Hawaii. Todd Grantham going to Hawaii, that doesn't seem like
Not Todd Grantham.
Todd, who'd you say?
Todd Graham.
Todd Graham.
Okay. Todd Grantham, thank goodness, is still in Florida calling defenses. They give up 31 points a year.
Oh, yeah. And Hawaii usually has a hell of an offense. I remember when we were playing, you used to watch those late-night games when they would go out there and just put up 40, 50 points. But, yeah, I'm right where you're talking about. Everybody you've talked to, I'm 50-50 on it.
You're Switzerland.
Yeah, I don't know which way is better. I know that as a player, I'd rather get out and play and knock the rust off. But as a coach, you probably want to sit back and see what they're going to do.
It is a unique situation in college athletics, and I was talking about this yesterday. Like, normally you don't have the opportunity to go out there and get a warm-up. And this isn't a warm-up game. Like, it's a real game that UCLA's got to show up for. But normally it's, man, I'm so tired of going against the same guys. Yeah. I just want to go against somebody different. I wish it was somebody outside of purple and gold, because it's even hard to tell, because even as a player, it's like, man, I've jacked that linebacker up about 17 times. Am I this good, or is he that bad? You don't get to answer that question until you play.
You get to that point in camp where there's a lot of fights starting to happen, because everybody's mad. Everybody's tired of hitting each other. Everybody knows what you're going to do. You're just ready to hit somebody else, like you said.
Also on the slate of Week 0 games, UCLA Hawaii is not the only game that features a couple of this is a Power 5 game. Hawaii is not a Power 5 team, but this one feels like it's not a Power 5 game anymore. Illinois, Nebraska. Illinois, Nebraska, actually the first game of the year. It's in Big Ten fashion. It's a noon kickoff here locally Central Time. Illinois 41, Nebraska 23 a year ago. That was with Lovie Smith on his way out. Knew he wasn't going to be the coach. They still get housed. Actually, on the first play of the game, Nebraska tried to throw a backwards screen. It went backwards. They fumbled it. Illinois picked it up and went for a touchdown. It was one of the uglier games that you've ever seen in your life, okay? Nebraska's got pressure this year. This is year 4 for Scott Frost. These are his recruits. No longer can you say these are his guys. These aren't my guys. You're 4 years in. These are your guys. You've got Adrian Martinez. That is your quarterback. They're a 7-point favorite on the road. You know who the Illinois coach is now?
No.
Brett Bielema.
Oh, nice.
So Illinois has more super seniors than any other team in the country. You get Brett Bielema, who knows the Big Ten. He played in the Big Ten. He coached the 3 straight Rose Bowls in the Big Ten. Nebraska's the touchdown favorite on the road in this game. They lost by 18 points to Lovie Smith last year?
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, Scott Frost just hasn't been able to get that program turned around the way he wants to. I don't think Nebraska will ever be back to what they were back in the day. I mean, the way recruiting is, they're in the middle of nowhere.
How about this? There's 4 4-star players right now currently in the city of Omaha.
Okay.
They should 4. You know how many are committed to Nebraska?
0.
None. So even when
They
there
wanna
is
get out of there.
4 players that are 4 stars, which that being in Louisiana, we're like, okay, what's the big deal? That's a big deal in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're signing 25 guys.
Like, you don't have a lot of 4-star, certainly not 5-star athletes. Like in Louisiana, you can go down. I mean,
there's 4 stars in Baton Rouge.
Within 20 miles of here, you could find maybe 20.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. I don't follow much recruiting, but I guarantee you within 10 miles of this station, there's 4 4-star guys.
So you're not even winning your own state. Not even, you say get Nebraska get back. They'll never even sniff what they were. I mean, for them, if they get 9 wins in a season, that should be celebrated with a parade in Lincoln.
They're missing Bo Pelini right now. I mean, Bo Pelini actually had a decent squad going over there. Hey, I'd rather him be over there and not here.
I'm just saying, football's about to start. Let's don't bring up old stuff.
Oh, I'm just talking about the way he got let go was so funny. I mean, they had a private recording of him dogging the fans because they were mad that he was only winning 9 games, and now look where they're at.
Also on the slate, I mentioned it, UConn at Fresno State. UConn didn't even play last year. That one's probably not going to be a main attraction in a lot of homes here in Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana. UTEP at New Mexico State and Southern Utah at San Jose State. And on Wednesday, I don't know why they chose to play on a Wednesday. You've got UAB taking on Jacksonville State in Montgomery, neutral site game there for the Blazers.
Just trying to get on TV, man. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but just play on like
I remember at one point Southern Miss played 3 games in like 11 days at one point because they were trying to get it on those TV schedules. They played like a Thursday night, the following Wednesday, and then like the next Saturday or whatever it was. It was crazy. But a lot of those smaller schools, they're just trying to do whatever they can to get on the TV for the money.
All right, so we used to on Football Fridays, and I guess, Mario, this could be the first Football Friday.
Are y'all allowed to do Football Fridays this year?
I don't know. I don't know what we're allowed to do, but this is considered Football Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So typically, you and I have to give our picks on a Football Friday.
I just found out about games that I didn't know were playing.
Okay, well, during the break, we'll look at them. We'll write them down. I won't even make you say them out loud. I'll just put them inside the Bayou 4 chat so they can hold you accountable for it.
I got
so we'll do all that and more. We'll continue to break down LSU. We're going to get Dick Dixon's thoughts on the tight end position at LSU. Looking a little thin there. You've got 2 scholarship players. One is a converted receiver. You've got a walk-on who's expected to play a lot of time for the Tigers. We'll get Dick Dixon's thoughts on that and much more when we come back here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. Yes, T-Bob's not here, so they probably don't have to worry about that call that they usually get weekly, but you might have a situation at your home. Maybe it's a toilet, maybe it's a pipe, it's a sink. We know things happen. And even if you can do a lot of things around the house, one thing that I know I can't do is anything that has to do with plumbing, right? That's why Central Plumbing is the expert to call. That's a 24/7 emergency service. 225-925-8552 is the number. But don't forget, they don't only deal with emergencies. If you want to install a new water heater, OGR tankless, they can come do that, right? It's going to save you. If you're getting the kids in the bath, running the dishes, doing the laundry, all these things at once, if you got a tankless, you don't have to worry about running out of hot water, which is a lifesaver. Bathroom remodels, that is residential or commercial, they'll come out to exactly where you need to put everything. Centralplumbing.org, 225-925-8552.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-85.
Hey, it's Cade Wazan inviting you to join me, Coach Todd Black, and Coach Jimmy Roy this Friday night for the Lake After Hours Lake Urgent Care Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. We'll be recapping area jamborees and catching up with some local coaches as well. It's this Friday night from 10 to midnight on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. Before we move on, if you're watching this on YouTube or on CST, fantastic job yet again by Danny. I'm going to ask you a very important question, Dick. Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
That's a good one. I'm going Sly.
Thank you, because you're an American, and that's the only true answer.
I mean, when you're just talking about Rambo alone.
Rambo, Rocky,
all of it.
Cobra.
I mean, Arnold was
over the top.
Dangerous when he was like a robot. Or
yeah. We don't need all that. I mean, just letting T-Bob know, if he was here and not at the beach for the 7th time, he'd be able to listen there. Real quick, we are right now at 22 likes. Although I love 22, as you can see by my shirt today, it's a fantastic number. Now we're at 23. If we get to 200, I know it's a big number. If we get to 200, chill. If we get to 200 likes before we end today's show, I'm going to give out a PlayStation code for the new Madden 22 MVP edition. We've got to get to 200 likes. So if we get to 200 and you've got a PlayStation, Madden 22 MVP edition, we'll select a winner.
I think you limited your, the importance of that. I mean, probably a quarter of the people listening have a PlayStation.
I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't know which way it works. I haven't played a video game in a long time. But
well, I'm an Xbox guy, but I have a PlayStation code that I want to give away.
Good for you.
So there we go. I don't know. I feel like it's probably 50-50.
What's more popular? I mean, this is definitely you need T-Bob here because he's a gamer.
T-Bob's got a PlayStation.
Okay, so that makes
got an Xbox.
I would say there's probably more PlayStation.
I don't know. Fellas, do y'all have any game systems?
Not really. I'm way behind. I got like an Xbox 360.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
Gosh, you dust that dinosaur off at night? My
I got NCAA 13 on it.
Oh, you don't even have 14?
No, 13. Whichever the last one is.
14.
It's 14.
With Robinson.
It was that Matt
Michigan.
Berger in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Danny.
Yeah, I'm Xbox guy over PlayStation.
Yeah. The only thing I have is that like new thing that you can play like the old Nintendo and Super Nintendo games.
Yeah. So you're out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, we've already jumped to 48. So from 23 to 48.
Every
so
time
we've got some
crazy
PlayStation.
How fast you ask for it, and then it just starts.
Well, you have 173 people watching.
Okay, so you should at
So
least
just
have
ask them to like it.
173.
Okay, so if I get, that means we get 27 more to watch and they all like it, then somebody's going to get a free Madden.
A free Madden?
Yeah.
Code? Are you giving out free Madden games now?
The code to get Madden. That's how. Look,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Look, you old son of a gun. You don't put the disc in there anymore.
Oh.
You get a code. You download the game off the system.
So if you download,
you don't have to worry about putting a disc in or keeping up with it or scratching it.
Is it like iTunes back
So
in
like
the day?
Baby Jackson, you're Jackson. Like if he just had the disc and he just like was throwing it like a discus or something,
took a bite
you don't have to
out of
worry
it?
about that.
So is it like the old iTunes back in the day when like you would lose your computer, it'd break down, and then you had to download and pay for all the songs again? Or is there an account to where you can just log in and you have your games wherever you're at?
So off of your username, so you have like a username and an account.
Mm-hmm.
Any game that you download to that username account, if you got a new Xbox and you put in that account, then those games automatically download.
Do the games cost the same amount of money these days?
There's different versions for different games. I'm going to explain it to you during the break. I'm older than you, but you're showing your age right now, and I'll get you there.
All right.
Fair enough?
Sure.
All right, let's talk some LSU football as we're up to 65 likes. And hey, a dislike takes away a like. I'm just saying, we got one dislike. It takes away a like, so now we're only at 65.
It's probably an Xbox fan.
It probably is. Or Moscona up in his office. All right, we talked about the tight end position. You've got Cole Taylor. You've got Jack Bech. You have got two scholarship players. One is a converted receiver that's trying to learn the position. We also talked about Jack Mashburn, who is a walk-on who is probably going to earn a scholarship here really soon. He's going to play a lot of football. He's going to be more of a Y. Cole Taylor's going to be more of a Y, hand in the dirt type guy. We know that. Jack Bech is your F. It's a thin position. And if Cole Taylor went down, it got me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Because Jack's not going to go do the things that Cole does. Then you're going to have, I'm talking about Jack Bech, not Jack Mashburn. Mashburn's going to come in and he's going to be that guy. You're just really thin. You signed someone out of Mississippi in this class who's not even on the team right now, like anymore. Like he's gone. So obviously next year you've got I think the number one tight end in the country coming in. So you've got resources coming, but right now it's a very, very thin room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that concerned about it considering the way that LSU's gone. You definitely want to have Cole Taylor healthy. I think he's a guy that's going to be in 80% of the time. Jack Bech is, like you said, more of a receiver. I think they got him listed like 220.
Yeah, I mean, I think people undervalue and underplay how big Jack really is.
No, he's a big guy.
He can handle. I came in. I know I played a full SEC season my freshman year at fullback, probably not much heavier than that, 225 maybe.
But you had done it before. You'd played D-line. I mean, you had physicality in your game from what you had done in high school. And I came in the same way. I started as a true freshman. I was about 240, 245 when I came in. Or, no, they made me get up there. I came in about 230. But I had played DN my whole life. I knew the physicality of the game. It's a lot different when you take a wide receiver who's lined up with a guy off of him, and his whole game was built around no contact or getting away from him. And I think I told you when I was on the show a couple weeks ago, I'm going to take a look at it as far as a conversion like D'Angelo Peterson. It took him a while, and he was a sophomore, and he was a big guy. He was probably 230, 235 when he came in or switched over. It takes a while to get used to it. Now, they've had all camp. I don't know how much they've used him in that role. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to get him, familiar with it. But it just doesn't bother me or show me a lot of concern because I know they got a lot of formations where they can get in four wide, spread it out, and still have, the run game that we saw with Joe.
So if you're wondering and you're listening or watching what an F is compared to a Y, okay, so the Tebow block that went viral where he was trying to cut off the backside defensive end. I think everybody knows the video that I'm talking about. That's what you ask an F to do most of the time. So your F is always going to be on the move or put in position to be able to block someone who is in 99.9% of the time much larger than
basically the old H-back type deal where you're going to be in the motion, a lot of backside cutoffs. You're not asking a lot from a lot of guys. Receivers run that role in a lot of like zone stretches when they come off the backside and they're going to cut a defensive end. There's a lot of things you can do that can help them out. But
a lot of movement, a lot of motion, a lot of if you've got to block
indirect contact. I mean,
yes, if you've got to block a defensive end and I'm 225 pounds, he's 285. Well, they'll put you on the move. You'll get to his outside shoulder, and they're just asking you to hold the block long enough.
They just want you to stop his momentum. That's all you have to do. You stop his momentum, get on the outside, you're good. I think there's a lot of things schemed up where they got the guys in place. They know what they have, and they've been all camp with what they have. and they're going to have ways and plays to get around and make everybody put them in the best position.
What about the receiver group? I don't know how much practice you've been able to see.
I feel like there's 15 of them that can play.
Well, talking with Mickey Joseph, I mean, he said, 10 guys. And he might have been lowballing. I mean, you could add up 12 guys, I think. He's like, 10 guys are going to play. He said, they're just too good not to. I've got some dogs, and he does, man. He's got some guys that I know when I was a freshman and talking about trying to gain weight when I first got here. I remember my first day, and one of my best friends in this world, Sean Jordan, introduced himself to me. He's like, hey, you the new kicker we signed? Like, no, actually, we play the same position.
That's just
so
Sean.
I know what it's like to be, you got to gain weight. You got to be mentally prepared to play and all that. Well, these receivers, they're ready to play. Nobody asking them that question.
Well, I think that's probably the telltale sign is after every scrimmage, the only people are talking about are freshman wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, and to hear that, I mean, that sucks for some of the older guys because it means.
But the older guys are still in the mixture, though.
But everybody's talking about the plays that the freshmen made.
Right.
My boss, old SEC referee, he did the game, and
I saw him out there.
He came up to me and said, "Dude, the receivers are nasty." I mean, that's the first thing he said. He didn't talk about the offensive line, defensive line. He said those receivers can make plays. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's seeing it. It's going to be exciting. You got to have a lot of depth there.
So on the SEC show that I do in the afternoons, we kind of do stock exchange where you can buy a sell it, obviously hold on to it, whatever it might be. And you can pick anything. You can pick a coach. You can pick a program. You can pick a player. Really, everything's game. Yesterday with mine, I said stock up on Kayshon Boutte. You know why? Because nobody right now is talking about Kayshon. And look, Malik Neighbors is getting a lot of love, and he should. Brian Thomas, a lot of love, and he should. Devontae Lee, I can go down the list of freshman receivers. I got the list right here. And nobody's talking about Kayshon Boutte. And he's not on any first-team SEC stuff. He's all second-team or third-team. He had 735 yards last year. He averaged more yards per catch than the Heisman Trophy winner. As far as guys returning in the SEC, he's third in receiving yards and returning. John Mechie and one other were above him. I can't remember who the second guy was.
300 against Ole Miss?
He did. I mean, last time we saw him, he literally had 308 yards receiving and set the record. In the swamp, he had over 100 yards, over 21 yards per catch. This is someone that is going to come into his own this season. Nobody's really talking about him because nationally they're talking about other receivers. They're talking about other people. And then here locally, because you just don't see it very often, we're talking about freshman receivers and which freshman's going to dominate. When you might have the best receiver in the conference in Kayshon Boutte sitting right there as your number one.
I get it locally because I think we all know he's our number one. And we've all established that he's the number one guy, but we're sitting there trying to figure out who's number two, who's number three. And that's why the talk's been around the freshmen. I think nationally, maybe because they're not sure about our quarterback situation is the only reason that he's not getting the national love that he deserves.
All right, I'm getting the break sign from Mario or the motorcycle sign. I can't tell, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. More LSU football talk when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, we're brought to you by All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. Go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. If you are looking to rent a vehicle, you got a certain situation, maybe you need a sedan, maybe you're going down to Richard Dick Dixon territory to Biloxi, maybe you want to have a weekend getaway, well, you can go get a sedan. You can get a Corolla. You can get a Camry. That's per-day pricing, and it is great pricing. We can promise you it's going to be tough to beat this pricing when you rent from All-Star. Maybe you've got something like a volleyball tournament, football, baseball, that last tournament in August before everything kind of shuts down. Well, maybe you need a Tundra. Maybe you need a 4Runner, a Sequoia, that full-size SUV because you need a little bit more room. But go check out those rentals over at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Don't forget, now is a great time to trade in as well. You're going to get more value for your trade-in. And then once you trade in, you need a new vehicle. You mentioned the rentals there. They've got you covered from every single angle. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guy. You don't want to miss Thursday's episode of Hunt and Hill. Russell Shepard joins the show, and it's time for another Throwback Thursday. Hunt and Hill, noon to 2 weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. Only about a minute and a half here in this segment. Still got Fitzsimmons of ESPN set to join us at 8:30. We hope we had some situation pop up trying to get him on the phone yesterday. Never had that happen, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. Megan making money at 9:30. We got big deal or no big deal. We might have a tier list as well, depending on how much work we want to put on Danny's plate. Unless Richard Dick Dixon has a really good idea for a tier list.
Nope.
Oh.
I know the last one y'all did was bad.
Explain
the
yourself.
lefties?
Okay. To be fair, Ken Griffey Jr. was mentioned probably faster than anyone. He just got left off on accident.
Okay, so that's bad.
But
then I heard y'all talking about one that put Burger King on the S list.
That was terrible. Not me. I was not here for that.
Well, I mean, you're talking about tier list. I'm telling you how I feel about them.
I know, but I wasn't here for that. I'm talking about since I've been here. I just didn't know if you had an idea.
No, I got no clue.
All right, well, if you got an idea inside the Bayou Ford chat, we'd love to talk about it. But we're going to talk more LSU football on the other side as well. Want to talk defense with Dick Dixon. We got plenty of guys to break down as we are only 8 days away from LSU kicking off in Pasadena against UCLA. Remember, we've got week 0 football coming up as well. So a lot of football talk in hour number 2 of OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, over the last couple of weeks, man, we have been telling you about DraftKings. It has been a lot of fun. Download the app today. I promise you will not be disappointed. You got college football coming up. You've got Major League Baseball already in play. You've got the NFL coming up. You can be your own GM every single day, right? You get to select 10 players. And if your player doesn't do good that night, well, the next night, guess what? You get to select another player. You're not tied in for a season-long player. It's what we love about daily fantasy. It's what we love about DraftKings. Go ahead, get into the App Store, and download that app. Because when you download the DraftKings app, and you use code Baton Rouge, all one word, for a limited time, new players can get a free shot at $1 million during week 1. Don't miss out on the action. That's Baton Rouge, all one word, in the DraftKings app, and that's only at DraftKings. Of course, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, middle relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person. Connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Good morning, everybody. It's 8 a.m. on Friday, August 27th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 87. In case you missed hour 1 of the show, you can now catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Coming up in hour 2 of OTB, we're joined by ESPN's Ian Fitzsimmons at 8:30 to talk college football. We also had the latest edition of Big Deal or No Big Deal coming up later in the hour. And Megan Making Money of Barstool Sports will join us at 9:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel or on Cox Sports Television. Make sure to subscribe and set your notifications. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, and welcome into hour number 2 of Off the Bench here with Richard Dick Dixon. Just a reminder, Lake Bob is now Beach Bob. He'll be back on Tuesday, I believe. So he's missing game week.
Tuesday.
He's missing game week, Coach.
He should have taken off, maybe Wednesday, gone a day earlier. I feel like he's going to come back Sunday, but he's just going to be, tired, maybe a little hungover, not knowing. And he said, I'm going to take off Monday too, which is a good move.
It's a vet move.
But not for a game week.
No, it's okay. So he will be back on Tuesday. Until then, we'll continue talking LSU football. We talked about some of the offensive weapons in hour number 1, and now I'm going to turn it around. Defensive question marks. I want to ask you, Dick Dixon, what position are you the most worried about when it comes to LSU football this fall?
As far as defense, it kind of started off with linebackers, but I feel like the more I hear about it with the guys that have come in, a lot of guys have made some moves that we're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable about that. Safety was one that I still think is kind of up in the air. You had some guys that you thought were going to move back there, or guys that have been here for a while. But the only name I keep hearing is Major Burns, who was originally committed to LSU, then went to Georgia, and now is back here. So I have a lot of questions about, as far as the safety is probably where my most question is.
Well, we keep talking about true freshmen. Sage Ryan looked really good at the beginning of camp. He's been out with injury. Todd Harris is still back there. Todd Harris has been, an LSU starter for a very long time. Obviously, he's had some injuries in his career as well. But I think it's more of a situation where Major Burns went and took the job.
Yeah.
I think going out there, and I don't know how much you've had a chance to go out there, and they've got another scrimmage tomorrow. It'll be abbreviated for sure. It won't be the scrimmages that we've had because they're getting ready for game week. But you don't have to look very far to find Major Burns. He's letting you know where he's at. And I love that for my DBs. I need my DBs, especially at DBU, to have that mentality. I mean, he was letting everyone know every play that he was making, and he was vocal back there, and the defense was feeding off of that. This is still a young football player. It's only his second year in college football, so I love seeing stuff like that from my DBs. Not every position, but DBs, yes.
Well, DBs and wide receivers, those are the loudest guys on the field. But I think, there's a lot of positivity because you heard it from, local guys talking about Major Burns early on. I heard Tommy Moffitt talking about Major Burns. And now, just as recently this Monday, O's talking about Major Burns right now. So obviously he's doing a lot of things out there to get on the radar. And
awful name for a DB. Great name if you play any other position.
Wide receiver would be a great name, Major Burns. DB.
So he's got to overcome a lot. Okay.
And maybe that's why he's the loudest. The more I think about it, who do you have behind Ricks and Stingley? Because we know they're dominant and two of the best in the country.
Glad you asked that.
But they've been out a lot with injuries. Stingley missed some last year. Ricks has had his shoulder problems. Who do you have behind them if one of them were to go down?
Well, Dwight McLaughlin, whenever he gets healthy, he's a dog.
Whenever he gets healthy.
I know.
We're talking about a lot of injuries that are happening in that cornerback position.
As you know, camp, that's just, unfortunately, that's a lot of time. Anytime you have a physical camp, which you have to have, that's going to happen. Now, stay with me, LSU fans, because I realize that Darren Evans is someone that got thrown into the fire last year against Mississippi State. He had been on campus like a week. He'd been like a week.
The Nichols.
From Nicholls State.
Guy?
And he looked like a different speed, just didn't look like he was up to speed. And remember, he wasn't really getting ready for a football season because Nichols wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what it's going to look like when the bullets start flying. I can just tell you the last scrimmage I was at, They tested him 3 times in a row, and they didn't complete a pass. And that's with the receivers having a day. So in the red zone, he was right there. He had a good day Saturday. He's made some strides in practice. He is a veteran player. He has been, 5-6 years into this deal. So they're counting on him. He's going to be someone that they count on. He's wearing Stingley's old number, 24. You'll see him out there, and they're going to put a lot of pressure and responsibilities on his shoulders.
Okay, but I still think you need another couple names because you're going to run 3 cornerbacks out there when you're getting to nickel. Now you're talking about one backup guy that you've mentioned as the transfer from Nickel State.
Well, you still have Cordell Flott, who's more of a nickel, but he'll still be out there. So if you had to bump him outside, you still have him. Rodarius Jones is still on the squad. We've seen him in moments as well. So
they've got a lot of hype for a while, Rodarius Jones. And then everybody thought, Cordell Flott was good enough to be a number 1 on the outside. But, you just got to keep those guys healthy because every time I turn around, I'm hearing about one of the cornerbacks out.
Yeah, and you were able to move Jay Ward to safety because at the time you had enough depth at corner. Now with injuries, and did say like he expects everyone to be ready for week 1 outside of Glenn Logan and Miles Brennan. So he's expecting to have his full arsenal ready to go in week 1. Not this practice coming up today or tomorrow, but Monday's practice. If you go out there and still you don't have the bodies expected to be there and they haven't returned yet, then that's when you start to really worry.
Yeah, no, I mean,
like T-Bob not being here during game week, right?
That's all right.
You're supposed to be here.
Yeah. Monday will be the telltale sign of how healthy everybody really is because, as I know, a lot of the guys in camp, they give some of the older guys a day off. They put them in gold jerseys just to, kind of rest them and get them ready. They're really testing the younger guys. But you want to know who's going to be out there week 1. And, hopefully that cornerback room is a lot healthier than it looks now.
Another position that we've spent a lot of time talking about, and it was a real worry for T-Bob at SEC Media Day, but it's really become a position that has continued to grow, and that's the linebacker position. I think Blake Baker's a hell of a coach. Former defense coordinator at a place like Miami, had success at Louisiana Tech as a defense coordinator. Now he is your linebacker coach, so he gets to focus on the linebackers. He doesn't have to worry about all 3 levels, which I think is a big plus for LSU. And also he can help Durante Jones. If Durante Jones has something like, hey, coach, because you've been in the fire before and you can throw something off of him, right? That's a group that has played well in camp. I'll be very intrigued to see how they handle a very athletic quarterback in week 1 because, again, sometimes you get camp eyes. Sometimes like, man, that guy's making play after play. Okay, well, who's he making him against? What's he going to do when that jersey looks different or that guy looks different?
For me, I feel like that's been solidified in the linebacker room because you're right. SEC Media Days, spring, everybody's talking about linebackers. You had a couple guys out. Guys had to work on their grades. You didn't know who was going to be the starters. And I want to say since week 1, those questions have gone away. No one's talking about the linebackers anymore. So obviously people have seen what they wanted to see. And everybody's very excited about this defense. They're talking about the energy with the younger coaches are bringing. And I think, Blake's doing a hell of a job to, quiet the noise about the questions around the linebacker room.
You've got Damone Clark. You've got Jared Small. You've got Mike Jones. You've got Bug Strong. You've got Micah Baskerville. It's a pretty solid group.
Bug and Strong just sound like great linebackers.
Yeah. Sounds like you played football in Mississippi.
Good names. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Bug, a lot of Strongs. Most of the Strongs are from the Panola area. Played against a lot of them.
Oh, so it's like a lineage.
Oh, yeah. The South Panola. They're not the team they used to be. When I was playing, they were the number 1 team in the country, and they had a lot of guys with the last name Strong.
You've tried to throw as many high school Mississippi football things as you can into the show today. We're an hour and 9 minutes in, and that's like the 3rd one.
I texted you last night. That's what I was watching. That's what my mind was on. It's the first meaningful football game of the year for me.
Full disclosure. So the high school where Dick played,
Ocean Springs,
the Greyhounds. And he sent me a message, and I was like, hey, ready for the show? Anything you need, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I'm ready now, watching the Greyhounds. I thought he was watching Ted Lasso. He said, I'm watching the Greyhounds. I just thought you were watching Ted Lasso. I know you're watching high school football in the state of Mississippi.
I had to Google Ted Lasso. I was like, what does he mean? Is that a famous Greyhound trainer? I don't know.
Yeah. Question from Steve Miller inside the Bayou 4 chat. What's it say that a walk-on will get a lot of PT as a linebacker in the opener?
I don't think it says much. I know a lot of people that walked on as linebackers ended up earning scholarships. A lot of times you'll see guys that weren't maybe played DB in high school, weren't the fastest. They don't get a lot of recognition. They get to college, get in the weight room, get on a Tommy Moffitt workout plan, and they use that athleticism that wasn't making them an elite DB, but they can now play linebacker.
And I understand the question, and I'm not going to disrespect walk-ons here. You and I had plenty of walk-ons that earned scholarships at our time at LSU and made plays. You got a guy, Mike Jones, that started at Clemson. I mean, he played in a college football playoff, had an interception, and right now he is, struggling to beat out Jared Small. And Jared Small is holding off that position right now. So when you start talking about, we've seen Micah Baskerville start games at LSU, plenty of games. We have seen Mike Jones at Clemson. Bug Strong is someone who started in the junior college level, so he's a veteran player. Right now, Small's just doing a really good job of holding those guys off. Not to say the other guys aren't going to play, because they certainly are going to play, but we're talking about guys from multiple places. So it's not like you just have a bad group of linebackers that you recruited. No, you got guys from Clemson, junior college, guys that have started here before. So I'm just going to give the man some credit.
Well,
He's done a nice job of holding those guys off. And he is going to get some playing time. He's not going to be in there 100% of the time, but he is definitely going to get some run.
Well, I think it answered a lot of your question when you're talking about the guy from Clemson. Didn't you say that he's like ranked 49 or
45th
something?
on the big board, Todd McShay's big board for the NFL draft.
Okay, so he's already made waves as far as NFL people looking at him, and now you're having a guy that, regardless was a walk-on or not, is holding him off. So he's done a hell of a job just to get in the position where he's at, and he's obviously making plays.
All right, we will take our next break. When we come back, we've got big deal or no big deal. We've still got Fitzsimmons of ESPN set to join us as well. All that when we hop back on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, so we know we have a potential hurricane brewing right now. We have got a storm that is headed our way. Go to AdvantaClean.com right now, because I had a conversation with them yesterday. They have got 53-foot tractor trailers with equipment headed this way right now. They are ready to respond. Remember, nothing's going to be too big. Nothing's going to be too small. They are prepared for this situation. So if you've got something that you need their help, and remember, they can do it all. They are the one-call, one-stop shop. 225-369-5228 is that number. You do not want a situation where you've got water damage and you're not prepared. AdvantaClean, like I mentioned, they are ready to respond. They are prepared to go. Even if you want to go ahead and give them a call right now just to get a plan in place, remember, that's something they do as well. That number one more time to be ready, 225-369-5228.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, They have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
Coming up on a Friday edition of Early Line, Matt Lowe of Lindy's Sports joins the show to talk some fantasy football, and we give you all of our college football picks ahead of Week 0. Join us, 2 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB here on a Football Friday edition. It is getting ever so close. All right, you remember how to do this? Big deal or no big deal?
Yeah.
You need your microphone. You forgot that.
Big deal. But I forgot my microphone.
Yeah, it is.
I know how to do this.
Okay. All right, it is time. Let's get to a little big deal or no big deal.
Somebody forgot to drop.
Big deal. Ain't no big deal.
Big deal.
No big deal.
Big deal.
No big deal. No big deal. No big deal.
The best part about that is they had it all planned out. They had it planned out. They were ready to go.
Look, sometimes if you don't move the mouse enough for some reason, whenever you hit the space bar, it does not play the clip. That is what happened there. My bad, Dan.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Nice job, boys. All right, big deal or no big deal? Retired NFL quarterback Phillip Rivers wins his high school coaching debut. Let's go, Phil.
Big deal. That's your buddy. I know he wanted to get out there. He was excited. This has been planned for 2 years. He was the head coach while he was still playing in the NFL. Good for him.
The 8-time Pro Bowler led the St. Michael Catholic Cardinals to a 49-0 victory.
Where is it? Where's this high school at?
Fairhope, Alabama.
Ooh, okay. Big deal.
All right. Fellas, big deal or no big deal?
Big deal. Now he's less likely to leave coaching high school to unretire.
That's true.
I'm going to say big deal.
Yeah. All right, this one is, I don't even want to call it breaking news. It was on the TV, but like we've known this. Everybody's known this. Nobody's special for knowing this. Reports are New Orleans Saints named Jameis Winston starting quarterback for Week 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it into this segment. No big deal that they named him the quarterback because we've known all along. But big deal for Jameis Winston. He gets another opportunity to show he can be a starter in the NFL.
I think it's a big deal for everybody that's out there listening to radio that doesn't have to listen to another show talking about who's going to be the quarterback.
Tamus.
I'm so tired of that.
Taysom and Jameis mixture.
It's a big deal for all the sports radio guys out there.
Mario?
Big deal. Drew Brees officially has his successor in place now. Say what you want to say, but it's the next era of Saints football, officially.
I'm going to say big deal. The whole team now knows that Jameis is the quarterback, and now they go forward with that.
I'm absolutely with you there, and we'll talk more about that in hour number 3. All right, big deal or no big deal, quarterback Ryan Tannehill among 9 positive COVID tests for the Tennessee Titans, including their head coach who is just getting over it himself, Mike Vrabel?
I mean, I guess it's a big deal temporarily just because it's going to put a halt to some of the things they're doing in training camp. But I don't get the whole deal in general with, are they going to miss 5 days, 10 days, 3 days? Are they vaccinated, not vaccinated? Are they getting fined $15,000 for not wearing a mask? A lot of questions out there.
Mario?
Big deal. I mean, actually, no big deal. They still got a little bit of time before the regular season. I don't think it'll have any real implications.
I'm going to say no big deal. Yeah, still got a lot of time.
Big deal or no big deal, Steve Sarkisian says Texas is not close to naming a starting quarterback as we are only 8 days away from kickoff. So another quarterback battle. I'm going to say big deal. Sarkisian's been there since the spring. He's had a summer. I realize that Sam Ehlinger was the quarterback for about 11 seasons there, but you're an offensive guy. Go ahead and name a quarterback. You're 8 days away. As a person who's been in those huddles, I would like to know who the guy was at least 2 weeks in advance.
I'm saying no big deal. The team probably knows. Sark knows. It's another one of those college coaches who like to wait to the last minute just because they think they're getting an edge.
Yeah, big deal. I mean, Texas is going to be tested right out of the gates for me, hosting ULL and then going on the road to play Arkansas. I think they'd like to know who their starter is, but we'll see. They're going to be tested right away.
Big deal. Same as Jake said. Like, the huddle knows now who it is.
Big deal or no big deal, Cristiano Ronaldo reports are signing with Man City. The rich get richer. Big deal.
Soccer, man. No big deal.
Chill out.
It's a huge
Almost
deal.
Cursed.
Huge deal, man. I miss Ronaldo so much on Real Madrid. It has not been the same without him, and he's just going to another big team with a lot of money. It's just a big deal, but it's not one that I'm happy about.
Big deal. Man City's loaded.
Yeah, they're loaded. Jack
Grealish,
my gosh. They are absolutely loaded. Go ahead and just give them the trophy.
I couldn't name another player on the team.
We get it. Oh man, I don't watch that.
No, I tried to watch it.
Football.
I tried to
footy.
watch it.
I get it. Chill out. Big deal, no big deal. Boston Red Sox ace Chris Sale joins Sandy Koufax as the only pitcher on record with 3 immaculate innings. That means he struck out the side on only 9 pitches. He now has 3 of those in his career, where he has only thrown 9 pitches and recorded 3 strikeouts in 1 inning. That seems like a hell of a feat to me. I'm going to go big deal.
Oh, it's got to be a big deal when you're talking about as long as baseball's
anything with
been
Sandy
around,
Koufax.
and you're Sandy Koufax, you're one of 2 players to do it. Big deal.
Yeah, big deal. That's really significant. If you're one of the first people to do something and you're in the company of people like Sandy Koufax, that's a huge deal.
Big deal.
Wait a minute. For someone who wears a Dodgers hat in here all the time, I thought you would have more to say. The last couple of times we've had a baseball segment or anything baseball, you just throw it to the side. What's the deal?
I don't know. Everybody covered everything I was going to say, so it's a big deal.
All right. Big deal or no big deal? The Jake Paul Woodley fight coming up. Is it a big deal? Is it no big deal? Dixon, are you buying into the Paul brothers' boxing careers?
I think what they're doing to make money is awesome. I mean, the amount of guys that are getting paid for this, they've known how to promote it. I think it's put a hole in boxing in general, just to show that these 2 guys that are YouTube stars can come out and put these fights together where people are making millions of dollars. Am I going to pay for it? No.
Mario?
Agreed. He's great at promoting himself. This is going to make a lot of money, but I care very little, so no big deal.
Okay, I think I know where Danny's going to go with this one because it's all for the content, my man.
I'm going to say big deal. Millions of people are going to watch. They're going to make millions of dollars. And Jake Paul's in serious trouble of getting knocked out this fight. I think Tyron Woodley's like his first serious threat out of all the fighters he's fought so far, so big deal.
I got to piggyback on this one just a little bit because he's not going to get knocked out. There's a plan in place for this to happen. They're trying to make as much money as possible. Floyd Mayweather knocked his brother out, and he held him up to keep him from falling down. I mean,
Logan Paul's not the boxer that Jake Paul is, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
but I get
Jake has some skills.
But, I mean, I also feel like they're trying to keep these fights close, keep people interested, make it look as good as possible because there's no question in mind. Everybody's seen the clip. His brother was knocked out, and Floyd kept him up so they could keep going.
I'm going to say big deal. I'm going to say big deal just for what Danny said. Like, I know a lot of true boxing fans and MMA fans are like, wait a minute, you're getting all of our washed-up guys in the boxing ring, you're knocking them out, and you're trying to act like you're a bad dude. But it is brilliant as far as marketing. They've got people interested in exhibition fights. right, wrong, or indifferent. Even if you hate it, you're still paying attention to it because you hate it so much.
Go watch the Floyd Mayweather interview on it. He talks about he's legalized bank robbing, what they've done, and they're setting these deals up. They get a lot of people involved. He goes, I'll go do an exhibition. People can talk all the trash they want. I made $10 million for a Saturday night.
And just sat there. And for him, as a professional who might be the best pound for pound in the last however many years you want to throw on it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do it. You're going to call it an exhibition so it doesn't go against your record, but you're still getting, I mean, think about that. $10 million for an exhibition.
$10 million. You can use my face as a punching bag all you want.
You can knock me out.
That is completely fine. All right, that's going to do it for Big Deal or No Big Deal. We do need to take a break now. I'm going to give some extra time to see if my man Ian Fitzsimmons' phone is not in the wilderness somewhere. We'll take a break. Hopefully have Fitzy on the other side when we come back here talking college football on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to AccuTempBR.com. We always talk about the customer service over at AccuTemp. It's not only us, though. When you go to the website, there's over 11,699 reviews currently right now on the site. And it even breaks it down into each tech. So the tech that comes out to your house, you can give a review on that technician. So you throw it on the website, you know exactly who's entering your home. Any question that you might have with your heating and AC right now, you can have a live chat on the website. You can set up a call. You can set up a text thread. They are here to help you. Anything that you might need. Again, AccuTempBR.com. Don't forget generators as well. We got a storm coming up. That's obviously something that you have to be ready for in South Louisiana. Go ahead, give them a call, see where they're at as far as generators. That's 225-529-0335. Again, you can find all this information, start up all of the text thread right there on the website, AccuTempBR.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
In the sunshine, everybody loves the sunshine.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hours return, and we'll preview Saints Cardinals. Join us Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into Off the Bench here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We are excited, a little nervous to see if it works, but excited to catch up with my guy, Ian Fitzsimmons of ESPN. All right, Fitzy, do we have you?
Man, I hope so, 18.
We got you.
Good Lord, what the hell was that yesterday, man? It was like some butt bugs crawling up into the system, man. I mean, my God.
I don't know what happened. I've never had that happen before. Like, I could hear you say, like, the first word I could hear you say, and then it was just dead quiet. Nothing. Couldn't hear you.
Technology, man. I can't stand it. How you been, Jacob?
I've been doing well. Hey, it was our week 0. That's what it was. It was our week 0. And we were just trying to get ready for the season. We've got football coming up here this weekend. I don't know. Are you working anywhere this weekend?
No, man. My first one is next week in Charlotte. I've got Clemson and Georgia, and then week 2 I've got Washington at Michigan. So, man, I'm pumped for my first 2 games, man. And I think I've got Nebraska and Oklahoma week 3, which obviously with what's going on with Scott Frost and Nebraska, a little shine for taking off that one. That's a great old rivalry between the Southwest Conference team and Big 8. And I know you're a historian of the game and all the unbelievable battles that Nebraska and Oklahoma have had. So let's go, man. We're ready to swap some paint tomorrow. But Jacob, I'm curious as a former player. I'm going to ask you the question first, and then we get into everything else. But it doesn't feel like we have games tomorrow, man. I mean, Nebraska, Illinois, we have a Big 10 conference game tomorrow at noon on Fox, and it just doesn't feel like college football starts tomorrow. And maybe it's because of all the realignment talk and all that stuff and NIL, but it just has a different feel from previous years. What do you think?
I'm exactly right there with you. We were actually talking about it on ESPNU yesterday. I think it's because of all the things that you said. We talked about so many things off the field, realignment, the alliance, NIL, transfer portal, all the things in the summertime when typically we're trying to find storylines. We had so many headlines that we couldn't put the headlines down. And normally, like in July, Fitzy, we're talking X's and O's. We're breaking down position battles. We're talking about position groups, and we didn't do that. I'll be honest with you. I felt like maybe just this week we started to get into the nitty-gritty of what's actually taking place on the field and not off the field, when that's never really been the case.
I mean, look, LSU's first opponent plays tomorrow, man, against Hawaii. What is it? That's an afternoon kick. And by the way, hey, LSU fans, be careful here. Be very, very careful, because UCLA, I know over the last, 15 years, they haven't been worth, just talking about it. Maybe chicken spit, and they've got 20 starters back, and they have a tune-up game, and you don't. Yeah. So I would be locked in and dialed in on UCLA Hawaii, because their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, can sling it. And as I mentioned, they've got everybody back, basically, on both sides of the ball. I know they went 3-4 last year, but you go back and look at it, man. I know, Jacob, you have. SC, that's a 5-point game. Stanford was a 2-overtime loss, 48-47. They were right in the middle. I think at Oregon they lost by 3. So that's 3 wins right there by just one bounce of the ball, and we have a completely different image of UCLA coming into this campaign. So I'd be locked in tomorrow watching UCLA and Hawaii, because it ain't going to be easy on September 4th.
There's no doubt that's the game everybody's going to be watching. But, Ian, what camp are you in as far as Is it better to have that tune-up game and, kind of knock the rust off of, or is LSU in a better position to get film on what they're doing this year?
Yeah, I always want to, knock some rust off the pads. That's just me, and that's most guys I talk to. Whether it's, even if you're just going big on big, like the game I've got next week in Clemson and Georgia, right? I mean, so you don't have a tune-up, but at the end of the day, so let's just go swap paint. But when one team does have an opportunity to shake the rust off those pads and get calloused a bit, I'm all about that. And man, maybe that's just me being older, but any rep is a great rep. And, as Bill Belichick has said so many times, your best ability is availability. And when you're available to have a tune-up game and then go best on best, I'm all for it. Heck, we used to see it all the time, man. Most of the big boys used to have that tune-up, and then you start. But these made-for-TV games on neutral sites like the one I've got, or Alabama, Miami. LSU's played in a ton of them as well. Those neutral site made-for-TV interconference games are awesome for the sport, even though I prefer to have them on a campus. But at least you're going best on best there, right? With most of those teams don't have a tune-up. That is week one. But when you can get that tune-up game before you go and play one of the big boys like UCLA is doing against LSU, because I think LSU right now is 9-10 win team. They're kind of flying under the radar, which surprises me a bit. But I think that they could be scary good in the SEC West. But this game concerns me a bit. It ain't going to be easy, and UCLA does get to knock a little rust off those pads that tune-up against Iowa tomorrow. Hawaii.
Fitzy, when you look at the SEC West, you mentioned it there, LSU kind of flying under the radar, and the East feels like it's a little bit down this year. It does feel like it's Georgia, everyone else, and I think that the gap between Kentucky, Missouri, and Florida is probably closer than the gap between Georgia and anybody else. So when you look at the West, how do you see that playing out? Do you think Texas A&M can really achieve that type of success that they had a year ago? Is Alabama the cyborg that is Alabama, loses coach, loses first-round quarterbacks, receivers, it doesn't really matter? They're going to be right there at the top again?
Yeah, well, I've learned my lesson when it comes to Alabama, right? You lose coordinators, you lose 6 first-round draft picks, you lose your starting quarterback who's a Heisman finalist, and guess what? It doesn't matter. They're going to be right in the middle all over again. And I know that's like vinegar on the palate there in Baton Rouge, but it's just a fact. I'm done picking against Alabama to not win the West. I've learned my lesson. I have been calloused, and I've been beaten up and bruised, right? As long as that dude is still coaching that team and Nick Saban, they're going to be right there at the top of the SEC West. I'm with you on A&M. They have to prove it to me. I know that King was named the starter, and he's a remarkably athletic, young man. DeMarvin Leal is one of the best DNs in all of college football. They got a sound offensive line, especially anchored by Green at offensive tackle. Isaiah Spiller being back as an explosive player. But they still have to prove to me that they can go and win that big game like LSU did a couple of years ago, whether it's against Alabama or in Baton Rouge, which I think I'll be seeing you again, guys, that game, and Auburn. I think I've got you guys against Auburn as well. So, hey, man, Parreens and Martinos, let's go, man. Let's stretch our legs and let's feast. But A&M still has to prove to me that they can win that big game. Until they do, I'm still having them either second or maybe even third in the West behind Bama and LSU.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That was going to be my next question as far as the hype behind A&M. They've had a lot of hype since Jimbo got there. But usually when you're talking about a team coming back, one of the key things is you're having your offensive line back, your quarterback back. And A&M's lost their starting quarterback and 4 offensive linemen, and now the hype's coming. I just don't see where it really gets there outside the running back room.
Yeah, I mean, Kenyon Green is a heck of a player. I mean, he really is. I mean, he's a first-team All-American. He's a road grader at left tackle. But you don't have that continuity, as you mentioned. Now, you do have a guy named Matthews playing center.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that if you don't know the history of the Matthews family at A&M, I mean, it's like Canton. So here comes another damn Matthews rolling in and playing O-line and starting at center for Texas A&M. But they got, 9 guys back on defense, I think, led by DeMarvin Leal, who's just a beast. But it all starts at quarterback. And by all accounts, Hayes King looks the part, but you still got to show it to me. And he hasn't played on that big field. And speaking of in that big game, speaking of tune-ups, I mean, what are they going to get? Kent State week 1, and then they have to go to Colorado. I don't know what Colorado's got or what they don't have, but their first true test isn't until, in my opinion, week 4 against Arkansas. And it's one of those neutral site games over here in Arlington, Texas. So I think the Hogs are better, man. Sam Pittman, I'm a fan. You give me a big old Hog Valley offensive line coach as your head coach, he's going to build that football team from the inside out. That's exactly what he's doing. Arkansas fights till hell freezes over, fights on the ice. So that's not going to be easy for A&M as well. But I think that's their first state test, and then come to week 4.
Yeah, and that game has always been a close one, regardless of how bad Arkansas was, how good A&M was. It doesn't matter. That game is always close. So I'm right there with you. But since you did say you had Georgia Clemson, Fitzy, in week 1, I want to ask you about that team, the Georgia Bulldogs. It's been 41 years. I think we all know that. It's been since Herschel was toting the rock for the Bulldogs since they've won a national title. But every single year, the expectations are title or bust. They're top 3 in recruiting. They've got the facilities. They've got the stadium. They've got everything except the trophy. How do you see that game 1 playing out in week 1? Do you buy into JT Daniels finally being the guy at quarterback? And will the Bulldogs finally win that trophy they've been chasing?
Yeah, look, I had JT a couple of times when he was out of USC, Jacob, and he had that kind of it factor. But he gets hurt. Keaton Slovis, all of a sudden just shines and seizes the opportunity. And now Keaton Slovis is a potential first-round draft pick, and JT Daniels had to go prove himself at Georgia. And he's not a great practice player. This is going back to SC, right? And you heard the same thing. That's why he didn't get the nod to start last year. But he is a game player, and I'm sure both you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Some dudes just don't shine in practice. Some guys, all of a sudden, when it's game time, let's go. And that's kind of the MO on JT Daniels. When he finally got inserted there, that team just looked different. It had a different swagger to them. But to me, it all starts up front defensively. And with, how do you describe Jordan Davis? 99 is a freak. He's down to 340. So
he can move.
He 350 last year, right? And he moved like that as a 1 or 0, and now he's down a little bit. He has a quicker step. Get the hell out of here. That should be illegal.
Hey, at SEC Media Day, when he walked through the door to come into our Sirius studio, I didn't even know what to say. I was almost speechless. Like, he had to bend his arms in, and he had to duck to walk into the door frame. I'd never seen anything like it.
I haven't seen him in person yet. But what you're describing, is he every bit of 6'6"? Is he that tall?
Every inch of it. Every inch of it.
And 340.
Yep.
Down
and a good 340 though. Not all 340s are created equal. We know that.
Man, my 220 is sloppy. I want to see a good 340. Right? Gosh, dude. But it all starts again, man. In that conference, you guys know this. It all starts up front. But I'll tell you this about that particular game next week. I think Georgia has the opportunity to bounce back off of a loss because they do. I don't know what Auburn's got or what they don't have, but. They should be at least a 500 football team. They have Florida on the schedule. If they get to the SEC championship game, they'll have whomever's coming out of the West, probably Alabama on the schedule. I think Georgia has enough to be able to rebound off of a close loss. You look at Clemson's schedule, unless they meet UNC in the title game, there is not a lot there to build on your resume. So I think this game next week is much bigger for the college football playoff for for Clemson than it is for Georgia, because I think Georgia has the schedule to be able to try and make it up.
All right, he is Ian Fitzsimmons. Hey, Fitzy, my co-host here is a Folsom, Louisiana frequent.
Shut up.
He's a frequent guy there. He's got a little family horse farm in there. So I told him you were from Folsom.
Where?
He was pretty excited.
Right off Davison Road, Clear Creek Studs. White's grandpa is a partner over there.
Breed horse at Clear Creek Stud, man. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we're over there a good bit with the kids, fishing in the ponds, hanging out.
Oh man, that's a beautiful piece of property. I'm South Factory Road, Bo, Choctaw Farm. Back in the day when there was only one traffic light in Folsom, man. And then you had 2 restaurants, right? Ray's and Gus's, man. And Ray and Gus didn't like each other, but it was like Hatfield and McCoy's, man. So that's it. That's all we got in Folsom, but we're damn proud of it, along with the Global Wildlife Center. So, hey, you want to go see some freaking bison and feed them and giraffes and whatnot? Head to Folsom, baby, and then stop on into Gus's, right? Say hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Fitzy, man, you're the best. We appreciate you working with us yesterday and then coming back on today, man. It means a lot, and we'll see you soon in Baton Rouge.
Hey, Bubba. Hey, Auburn, man. If I got Auburn, I'm hitting you guys up, boys. Let's go get the 3-point stance and fire off some food. I can't wait to come home. You going to pay me to come home, dude? Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. Absolutely. We'll do Rufino's. We'll do it big like we do every single time, Fitzy.
Rest in peace, Ruffin. All right, boys. See you, man.
All right, there he is, Ian Fitzsimmons of ESPN, good enough to join us here on Off the Bench. I told you, man, he's a Folsom guy.
Yeah.
I told you.
I forgot about it. We're talking football, but that's funny that he had horses over at Clear Creek.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in that area know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, they do.
So, all right, we'll take our next break. We still got so much college football talk to get to. Remember, we've got Megan making money as well in the third hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go today and download the DraftKings app. If I told you earlier in the show, man, this is a lot of fun. And yes, you can win some real money. Go ahead, go to the App Store, download the DraftKings app today, and use code Baton Rouge. For a limited time, players can get a free shot at $1 million during Week 1. Week 1 is coming up, so don't miss out on the action. That's code Baton Rouge only at DraftKings. And if you're wondering how does it work, it is simple. Baseball, football, like it doesn't matter. Like you get to be your own GM every single day. So you can go in baseball, let's take that, right? You get 2 pitchers, you get a position player at each position, and you try to get as many points as you can while staying in the salary cap. So you get a chance to make up a new lineup every single day. You can stick with the same lineup. You can do whatever you want because you are the GM. So again, download the DraftKings app. Download it and put in code Baton Rouge, all one word, DraftKings, Baton Rouge. Do it today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installation.
Hi, this is Charles Hannegriff. Join Jimmy Ott and myself for the Friday morning edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Ruffino's, and we're previewing Week 0. Jimmy Ott's Game Time presented by Bet Rivers, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Off the bench here. Last segment of hour number 2. Just caught up with Ian Fitzsimmons of ESPN. He's got the Georgia-Clemson game in Week 1. Probably the marquee game. And not probably. Look, it's top 5 teams.
No doubt.
Regardless of how you feel about those teams, top 5 team matchup in Week 1. Georgia has some pressure on them. And it's a weird situation, okay? Because when you look at it, like, of teams that have won national titles since they have, within their own conference, Tennessee, LSU, Florida, Alabama certainly, Auburn, all these teams have won national titles since they have. But that's the real feel in Athens. It's like you have to win a national title. Mark Richt won a lot of games, but it wasn't good enough. Kirby Smart's won a lot of games, but it hasn't been good enough. You've got all the pieces, and now you've got some injuries, and we'll see who bounces back in Week 1. You've got some pieces. I don't really know what that temperature is going to be if they don't win a national title in Athens this year.
In your
or
opinion,
at least even get to a playoff and look like you were
that's still
challenging.
not enough because they've done that and everybody gets upset. I mean, since I can remember, Georgia has been the team in the East. They've always been a 10-win season, and they've had great quarterback play. They've had great wide receivers, running backs. What holds them back in your opinion? I mean, because you go down the list, they've had a lot of drafted QBs, big-time wide receivers, running backs, offensive line, but for some reason or another, there's always a missing piece to win that big game.
There is. I mean, they always have one game where they don't show up, it seems like, every single year. Like, they had no business losing to a South Carolina team a couple years ago that was on its third-string quarterback. But that's what they have done. They've gone in and they have those type of games where they just don't show up. And sometimes when the lights are the brightest, they don't just not show up. They're not even in the building.
No,
I mean, the last how many times they played LSU has embarrassed them, right? I mean, we could point to multiple games. Now, the Rose Bowl game against Oklahoma, that was a great game, and you were in overtime away from winning a natty. I know that. But it just seems like more times than not, whenever the stage is the biggest, they just don't have the same success that they have in the other games.
Yeah, and to me, it's just a big question because talent-wise, they're every bit as talented almost every year as anybody in the SEC. They just, like for one reason or another, they don't show up on big games or they have a slip-up when they shouldn't.
It's a big year for Kirby Smart. It's a big year for that staff. Will Muschamp actually on that staff as a special teams coordinator right now. Scott Cochran not with the team right now. So a lot of familiar faces there in Athens. And and someone, I forget where it was, inside the Bayou 4 chat put it earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Funky Bunch. If Georgia does not win at all this year, where the national media finally put him behind O when ranking SEC coaches. And that's right. Like, you see all these lists, and it's like, Nick Saban, then it's Kirby Smart, then it's Jimbo Fisher, and then it's, Dan Mullen. And then you'll finally see Coach O. It's like, you want to talk about the records for Coach O against all of those coaches? But, that's still, you have those names, and Kirby Smart's right there with it. But if he doesn't have a very successful season this year, I'm just very curious what the narrative will be.
I mean, I think that they win 10 games, but is that enough? And, what else can you want other than the national title? They've been a hell of a team, and it just you're right. The pressure's on for them to finally win the big game.
When you look at the East, I mentioned it with Fitz, Florida, I believe, is going to be down. Emory Jones has been there for a long time. I get that, but he's never been the guy. And when you've been there that long and never been the guy, I've got questions. You are with the quarterback whisperer, Dan Mullen, but you lose Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts, Trayvon Grimes, so many weapons. Pierce is a nice running back. I don't know if he's a dynamic running back. That defense gave up 31 points a game. You have the same personnel and the same coordinator coming back. I just don't think Florida has the juice to be able to upset Georgia this year, even though it's a rivalry game. Kentucky, Missouri, probably closer to Florida, as I mentioned. So the East being down with Georgia's schedule, they get past this first one, sets up pretty nice.
Florida win one big game. Average season, but they'll still get a big win.
All right, we'll be back. Hour number 3, talking some New Orleans Saints here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to rejuvememedical.com. There, when you get to the website, you'll find a full list of services and conditions that they treat, which is so many different things. We tell you all the time, fatigue and insomnia. Maybe you're always tired and you still can't go to sleep. You're trying to figure it out. Go get your labs checked. Same thing with mood and memory problems, sexual dysfunction, weight gain. I mean, this is a big one. A lot of us sitting here, it's like I'm doing the same exercises, I'm eating the same foods, I'm having the same routine, but I can't explain why I'm gaining weight or why I'm not losing weight. Well, they can find out exactly why, and then they get you on a plan to get back to losing weight, to feeling like your youthful self over at Rejuve Me. If you've got questions, because I'm sure you do, you want to ask those questions, well, you can show up in person, get that consultation scheduled at rejuvememedical.com. You can always pick up the phone, go over any question that you might have, set up any procedure that you might have. Give them a call today, 225-230-4201.
Introducing Vizzy Lemonade, the only lemonade hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. All new Vizzy Lemonade. Step up your seltzer game.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou TE, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. It's 9 a.m. on August 27th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 87. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can now catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Coming up on OTB OT, Megan Making Money of Barstool Sports joins us in her weekly spot at 9:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN. Watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. Make sure to subscribe and set your notifications. OTB OT live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, and welcome into hour number 3 of Off the Bench here on a Friday morning. We will slide into the weekend here in a little bit. We have got some more news to get to. But before we do, remember, if we get to 200 likes on our YouTube feed, we are going to give away a free copy of Madden 22 MVP edition, and that is the best edition that you can have. So if you want a chance to get a free edition, get that PlayStation code. I explained that to Dick Dixon. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you're a little old school, no more disc. You don't have to worry about disc, right? You just put the code in, the game pops up, boom, just starts downloading on your PlayStation. Get inside the chat. Give us a like. We are at 115 right now. If we get to 200 before the show ends today, we got an hour left. We will give away that PlayStation code. All right, we mentioned it in Big Deal or No Big Deal, and it was breaking news on ESPN. It was breaking news on a couple of places, and Shefty had, so it's like, okay, it is breaking news. But Jameis Winston being named the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints is not really breaking news to anyone here in Louisiana. If you have watched the preseason, if you've listened to the practice reports, and if you've actually seen practice like our guy Mario, there's no surprise that Jameis Winston has been named the starting quarterback. Jameis Winston has had success in this league. I realize he's had some failures as well. But the body of work that he put together with all the touchdowns, with all the yards, I know the interceptions are there as well. It is no surprise that he is going to be the guy that is the QB1 signal caller for the Saints against the Packers. Now you're following an absolute legend. You are following up the best player, the most famous player in franchise history in Drew Brees. There's going to be expectations. There's going to be a real want to win because the Saints have been winners ever since Drew Brees and Sean Payton have gotten together. And Sean Payton allowed this to be a quarterback competition. I think we know what Sean Payton thinks about Taysom Hill. He has a real love for Taysom Hill. He loves what he can do. Now, the question I have is, how quickly does Taysom Hill go back to his H-back, X-factor, whatever you want to call it, role? Because with the Saints and with injuries that they have, especially at the tight end position, right, receiving threats, you need a Taysom Hill. You need what he gives you. I don't know how many plays a game that is, right? It might be 10, it might be 15, it might be 20. Whatever that number is, Taysom gives you something, right? He's not your ordinary backup quarterback. You have a backup quarterback. In fact, you have 2 backup quarterbacks that feels like you feel pretty good. You've got Trevor Siemian, who is obviously a veteran guy, been a starter in Denver for a long time. You have Ian Book, who is a rookie who has flashed at times. A lot of people like what he can do. So you've got some options there. It allows you to allow Taysom to go back to what he's done really well in the NFL and the reason why you've given him an extended contract. So no surprise, Jameis Winston is going to be your starter against the Green Bay Packers, something we've all just kind of been waiting for it to come down. Jameis is 28-42 as a starter. He is thrown for almost 20,000 yards in his career, 121 touchdowns. So while there's been, some 30-plus interception seasons that we know that, you're still talking about a very talented guy coming in with a guy who has always done really nice work with quarterbacks. What's the expectation level? I still think it should be pretty high. And that might be wishful thinking, but when you have Sean Payton and when you have a quarterback who's had some success like Jameis has, I don't think you want a situation where you just get by at quarterback. I don't think that can be the situation for the Saints. So I'm going to turn this. I'm going to ask our guy Mario, who's had a chance to go out to practice. He's had a chance to call some of the games. He's going to be on the call if we have a game tomorrow night between the Saints and the Cardinals. You're not surprised by this?
No. Not at all. And I mean, I'm trying to share your optimism, man. Like you said, given the context, Jameis is coming to a place where eventually Mike Thomas will come back. He has a very innovative head coach in Sean Payton. He has a really good defense to lean on. But I'm happy he won the battle. Obviously, he was always going to. It's not a surprise, like you said. But he's still kind of got to show me a lot going into the regular season. They'll be tested right off the bat. Playing Green Bay, but if they're able to win that game and Jameis has a good performance, he can really endear himself to the fan base a little bit because he's clearly already won over the team. Adam Schefter's out here tweeting quotes from his teammates that they believe in him, and he looked really, really good the other night, but it was still preseason, and it was still against a really bad Jaguars defense. So now he's officially the starter. He's officially Drew Brees' successor. Let's see how he does.
He's got a really nice chemistry already with Callaway, who's going to be probably his top receiver for a couple of weeks. That's a good sign. And you start thinking about some of the other weapons that he's going to have that he hasn't had in the preseason, right? Alvin Kamara is going to be out there. You haven't had that. And so it is so intriguing how it's going to play out. I mean, you just don't see 30 seasons, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, and over 5,000 passing yards. That's just not something that you see. I do want to ask you this, though, Mario. What do you think Taysom Hill's role is going to be? Do you think week 1, Green Bay Packers, he goes back because he hasn't been working on it? He has been in this quarterback battle. He has not been working on the things that we have seen him do in the past. There's been games, playoff games. I said it, I think it was Wednesday, where he was the best player on the field at times, right? I mean, he took over that game against the Vikings. So how do you think that plays out with Taysom Hill?
I think he goes back to that jack-of-all-trades role. I mean, it's hard to imagine him doing anything else because, as you said, just because of the context of the Saints not having bodies, Taysom Hill might be their best tight end right now with Troutman going down and Vanette going down, despite what Juwan Johnson has done. But they need him there, and I think they're in a situation where they feel comfortable in having Ian Book as the backup if Jameis Winston were to get hurt. So you can kind of risk that injury with Taysom a little bit more and play him wherever because he's so effective, man. As you said, special teams, playing wide receiver, playing tight end, even as an H-back, like opening up running lanes. So he has to go back there. I don't think there's another option.
I'm glad they went ahead and made the move, named the starter. I would have liked to have seen it right after the game, get as many days. And look, full disclosure, they've in the building organically, the team, hell, Cam Jordan knew like months ago that Jameis was going to win this job. And so, yes, they've been knowing who their leader was going to be, but just how valuable it is to have that guy in the huddle, to create that chemistry, to know exactly what's going on. I heard Flynn on Wednesday when I was out talking about just the different things that having your quarterback and knowing that voice and knowing the cadence and knowing how he does things and knowing how he wants to audible. I just hope they didn't wait too long. And in week 1, you're scrambling a little bit. Obviously, you've got a game coming up. Jameis is your starter. Now he's going to get all of the 1 reps. Taysom will come in. He'll get the 2 reps. But I'm very intrigued to see how it ends up with Taysom as far as his other role. Now, if you're Jameis, you want to get some guys healthy. You're down 2 tight ends. You're working out 3 tight ends today. You're down Traquan Smith. You're down, obviously, Michael Thomas. You are looking for weapons. You're looking for guys that are going to be able to go out there and help you. Now, you're going to get Alvin Kamara back. Obviously, he's not going to play in the preseason. Tony Jones Jr. has been a nice surprise. There's been a chemistry there between Winston and him. It might be a situation where, week 1, even if it doesn't go well, we're trying to say, wait a minute, is Jameis really the starter? It's, put Taysom in. It's not going to be that situation. This is Jameis' team. He is going to get the full season, and you're going to see him, I think, get better as each week goes because you're going to get weapons back with each week. So Jameis Winston is now going to be your starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints in week 1, and I would assume all of the 2021 season. All right, we will take a break. We'll talk more Saints because this hurricane coming up in South Louisiana could affect tomorrow night's game. Again, Mario on the call, so we'll give you the latest information there and keep you up to date. Don't forget, we've still got Megan Making Money of Barstool Sports set to join us at 9:30. We will slide into the weekend, brought to you by Small Sliders when we come back. We're trying to get to 200 likes. We are trying everything we can do to give away this free Madden MVP edition. We are at 135 likes, so we are close. 65 more likes, and we will give away a code for a free edition of Madden. We have 193 people watching right now, so if everyone just goes ahead, hits the like button, we will be so close, and we will give away that free edition of Madden. Still a lot to come here on a Friday, Football Friday edition of Off the Bench.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. We absolutely love to tell you about the rentals because it really is a great deal. Like per day pricing, if you need it for 1 day, you only pay for 1 day, right? There's no limit. There's no, hey, you got to have it for 3 days. So check that out on All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. But right now, as we've told y'all, if you've got a trade-in and you've been looking for a new vehicle, now is the time. You're going to get great value for your trade-in. And of course, once you trade it in, what do you got to do? Well, you got to get a new vehicle, right? And they've got something for everyone. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. We can promise you. If you want a sedan, Corolla, Camry, Prius, they got you. If you're looking for a midsize SUV, they got the Highlander, they got the 4Runner, they've got the RAV4. They have the RAV4 and Highlander in hybrid versions as well. Sequoia, if you need that full-size SUV. If you're looking for a truck, right? They got the Tacoma. They got the big, bad Tundra as well. Sienna minivan. So as you can tell, it doesn't matter what you're looking for, what your lifestyle needs are. They've got you covered. Check them out online, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Hey, it's Cade Wazan inviting you to join me, Coach Todd Black, and Coach Jimmy Roy this Friday night for the Lake After Hours Lake Urgent Care Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. We'll be recapping area jamborees and catching up with some local coaches as well. It's this Friday night from 10 to midnight on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back in Off the Bench here on a Football Friday edition. Actually, right now, we just talked Jameis Winston. I want to get our experts' thoughts. My guy, Ken Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com, is joining us to talk about Jameis being named the starter Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Ken, how you doing this morning?
Oh, as good as can be expected in these strange times, but good to be with you as always.
A lot going on in South Louisiana, that is for sure. They had the little breaking news ticker on ESPN and on Twitter, breaking news, Jameis Winston starting quarterback. But anyone that follows the team's been to practice. I don't think this is any breaking news. Do you, Ken?
Not in the least. Clearly, they could have tried to keep the mirage going for a longer period of time, but they weren't fooling anyone. So in terms of preparation by an opponent, namely the Packers were going to prepare for Jameis Winston. That's very clear. So the timing of this does not surprise me at all, and it fits into what Peter King had reported last week, that Sean Payton would name a starter before the Arizona preseason game. So it does not surprise me at all, and it's an obvious move. Obvious.
All right, so what happens now with Taysom Hill? Where does his role go? Because he has a role on this team. We've seen it in the past. I mean, he has been an offensive weapon. Does that just go, like right now, today's practice, does that go right back to, okay, Taysom, you're going to be the 2 quarterback, but you're also going to go back with the ones and be this hybrid H-back, tight end, whatever you want to call it?
I fully expect he's going to continue to get snaps at quarterback, much like he did with Drew Brees, because it gives other teams something to prepare for, something to deal with, and a different look, obviously. Of course, the other part of that is clear, which is he goes back to the hybrid role, goes back to the joker role, call it what you may, where he lines up in a lot of different spots. And given the tight end scenario with the Saints right now, clearly there's a void there, because it's quite possible that your top 2 tight ends are not available for Week 1. The good news is there's a week between this final preseason game and the start of the regular season to possibly get one, if not both of those guys back, but the severity of the injuries is undisclosed, where both Troutman and Vanette are concerned. Juwan Johnson is a hybrid guy who's had a good preseason. Clearly he's going to make the team, a receiving tight end, but they surely could use help there. But here's the caveat to that. Taysom Hill lost about 15 pounds, guys. You know, he lost about 15, 20 pounds to be a quarterback. So that speedy, hefty guy that you saw is still speedy, but not quite as hefty on the hoof when it comes to being a tight end. But I don't think he'd ever be used in a blocking capacity anyway.
So also when you look at the quarterback room, having guys like Book and Simeon being a veteran, Book being the exciting young rookie, that does allow you, like you fully expect them to carry 4 quarterbacks. It allows you to have Taysom in that role and not really worry about his injury, correct?
Yes, I fully expect they'll try to protect Simeon and keep him on their practice squad with the league rules now. And Book they like quite a bit, incidentally. And I don't want to call him the king in waiting, but certainly he's a real consideration moving forward. Look, Jameis Winston's played 5 years in this league. He's had some success. He clearly has the physical ability. With Winston, the accuracy, 61% for his career is not what you want, but a lot of that is because of the type of throws that he's made. He's a gambler and a deep ball guy, so that's part of his deal. Can the Saints coach him up a bit to make better decisions? I think that's possible. You are what you are, as the old saying goes, but I think that there has been a process of, look, take the check down, take the check down, take the check down. And we haven't seen Kamara in the preseason, but clearly he's that outlet when you get to the regular season. We'll see if he's capable of doing that. Winston, by the way, has a bunch of incentives if he can accomplish some things this year. He's on a 1-year deal, so he has a chance to prove himself. If he is middling, then they'll probably look to move on. If he's below average, he'll certainly move on. If he's above average, then he could play himself into a big contract. We'll see. But Ian Book is a guy they like. Very poised, very smart. He's accurate. He has mobility. But, obviously he's not ready yet. So by 2022, though, he could emerge. He could be in this picture.
Catching up with a guy, Ken Trahan, Crescent City Sports here on OTB. Ken, how concerned, you mentioned it, how concerned are you about the tight end position with Troutman being out, Vanette being out, working out 3 tight ends today?
Yeah, I think it's a concern. Look, first of all, Adam Troutman's only a second-year player. The thing you like about him is they liked him for his receiving skills, but he turned out to be a better blocker than I think even the Saints thought he would be, which is a real plus. Vanette is a veteran, and he can handle both of those aspects somewhat like Josh Hill did. So now when you're talking about a guy like Jawan Johnson, or you're talking about Taysom Hill, neither one of those guys are going to block, okay? That's not what they're going to do at all. So it really changes the way you approach that position, unless you go with Garrett Griffin, who's been on and off this roster for a couple of years. So I do think that changes things. The one thing to me that's been painfully obvious, or very obvious, for the last several months is the Saints should be a running football team. They should run the football more. There were only 3 teams in the league that ran it more than they threw it last year. 2 of them were teams that won quite a bit, and Baltimore and Tennessee. The other was New England, for obvious reasons. The Saints, with their offensive line, which is, in my estimation, the strength of their team, and their running backs, which, by the way, is also a real strength and a tough position, incidentally, to make cuts. Those are real strengths of this football team. And with a quarterback that has had some issues with turnovers and there's still questions about, clearly the way to play is to run the football. Of course, the flip side of that is obvious, and you know this. Defenses are going to play single high safety, and they're going to play 7-man boxes against you and dare you to throw it. So, look, you've got to be able to make some plays down the field, and that would open up the run. But I do think you have to make more of a commitment to the running game.
Kim, what's your biggest area of concern still for the Saints? Now that we know the starting quarterback, we kind of know where the injuries are. Where's your biggest area of concern? Is it still outside at corner?
Yes, I think cornerback and defensive tackle Jalen Dalton going down was a big blow. This kid was having an outstanding preseason. And at least from my perspective, I would sit here and tell you that he was their best defensive tackle, without Onyemata being in the picture, of course. So we know Malcolm Roach is going to be there and be in the rotation. That's pretty obvious. With the injury to Dalton, Shai Tuttle may be back in. We've seen Ringo. We've seen some other options, but Dalton was having a big preseason. So defensive tackle is still an issue. As I've said for months now, I do think that you'll probably see Cam Jordan slide inside and take some snaps at defensive tackle because they're rich at defensive end with depth. And then, of course, cornerback, as you alluded to, without a doubt, that's a real concern. Poole going down, he would have been a slot guy, but he's a veteran presence, a guy that certainly has played in the league for quite some time, so he's done for the year. So now you look at what you've got. The good news is both Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and P.J. Williams can slide to quote-unquote cornerback. It's hybrid anyway, as you know, when you're talking about that third safety and you're talking about guys that are playing slot receivers, that's equivalent to cornerback anyways. You can call it whatever you want, safety, cornerback, whatever. So they do have some guys that are flexible. Ken Crawley's had a really good preseason, but it was reported after the game last week that he was injured. The severity unknown, and he's a starter. Paulson Adebo has looked good. He's long, his hips. He moves his hips pretty well for a guy that's 6'1", and he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's shown the ability to tackle. Looks like a good draft pick, but he's a rookie. So there's a concern. And then with Marshawn Lattimore, we just sit here and scratch our heads. Being close to the season and still nothing, crickets from the league with regard to any possible suspension. And the feeling starts to become, well, it might not happen if anything happens by the start of the season, largely because nothing's happened with the case in Cleveland where the off-season incident occurred. So, yes, I think cornerback, defensive tackle still remain the concerns.
Last position on defense, what about the linebackers? It feels like that was an area of concern. You've had a couple of players. You make a signing with Quan Alexander, and Zach Bond starts to make some strides in the first preseason game. I know Pete Warner's been out with injury, but he flashed at times as well. Do you feel better about that position now than when we were coming into camp?
Without a doubt. I think it's pretty interesting how so many people were so concerned about linebacker. And from day one, my posture was, I think there's some level of concern, but I don't think it's as high as people make it out to be. Look, they'll list 3 starters at linebacker, but as you know, much of the time, maybe 60% of the time or more, they're going to have 2 on the field, if not 1. So it's simply the nature of defenses today and the nature of offenses and schemes that you're facing. As a result, you're going to take a guy off the field that can play the run. Case in point would be the Sam linebacker, Caden Ellis, who's looked good in the preseason. He's healthy, son of a former NFL player, looked like a good pick a couple of years ago, had a bad injury. Now he's back looking good, but he's a run player. You're not going to have him in against the pass. And then, of course, they brought back the guy we know, Quan Alexander, who's ahead of schedule from a serious injury with the Achilles, but we all know he can run. And he's an all-down player, much like Demario Davis, if he's healthy. And then Zach Bond has looked really good in camp and in the preseason, so there's no doubt you're comfortable there. And plus, you made an investment with a number 2 draft pick and Pete Werner out of Ohio State. So you've got a lot of options there. Yeah, I really don't have any concern about the linebacker position, barring injuries.
Catch the number of the guy, Ken Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com is where you can find his work, at Ken Trahan on Twitter. All right, before we let you go, before the season starts, kind of give us your realistic expectations of what this Saints team can be in 2021. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think the broad strokes would be anywhere from 7-10 to 10-7. I picked them 8-9, and that was based on depth concerns and quarterback questions. And I think the depth concerns remain in place, and I think the quarterback questions remain in place. Jameis Winston looks like a different guy. He acts like a different guy. He's clearly matured personally. As he matured as a player, we'll see. He was lights out in the preseason game last week. Perfect throws. Of course, when you talk about decisions, the first one was in the double coverage, right? But it was a perfect throw and a great catch by Callaway. So there's still that question. There's the question of schedule, which is pretty challenging. The extra game that they got was the NFL did them no favors, sending them to Nashville to play a good Tennessee team. So I think it's a competitive team. This is not a rebuilding team. There's too many really good players here. When you're talking about a team that has Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas at some point, Ryan Ramczyk, Teron Armstead, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, and Marshawn Lattimore. That's not a bad team, okay? No matter what, that's a quality bunch of players, so they're going to be competitive. The question is, can they push it further and be a playoff team and be a threat? I think it's possible, but again, let's see what happens with this roster. They're going to be waiver wire moves. The final 53 will change. And then, of course, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a trade out there, because if they want to be that team that has a chance to win 10 or more, they're going to have to make a deal for a proven player at these positions we spoke of, at cornerback and or defensive tackle.
All right, there he is, Ken Trahan. You can follow him on Twitter, at Ken Trahan. Ken, we appreciate you hopping on with us last minute to break down Jameis and the Saints. Always a pleasure.
Same here, guys. Listen, I always appreciate you guys. Prayers for everyone. Stay safe and stay dry, and let's see if we get through this sucker and move on to next week and we can focus on football.
Absolutely. There he is, Ken Trahan, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes this morning. All right, we do need to take a break. When we come back, Megan making money, Barstool Sports joins us week 0. We're going to get some football picks from Megan. That and much more here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
GEAUXroof.com. What does that spell? If you're from here, you know it spells go roof, right? And they spell it colloquially because they're members of the community, okay? And they, because of that, they want the community to thrive. They want everybody's roofs to be taken care of. They want you to thrive. That's why they offer things like a free professional estimate when you call up. And they show up there. That didn't cost you anything. They let you know exactly where you stand. Then you make a fully informed decision about what to do next. You call 927-8300. When they answer the phone, you hit them with a roof sign. And what you'll get is a beautiful new roof every single time. Also, because they care about the community, they stand by their work. A 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. So, look, if your insurance coverage is great. If not, they can work with you to find payment options that works for everybody. Go to GEAUXroof.com, 927-8300, GoRoof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, middle relief, and after further review. Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
You don't want to miss Thursday's episode of Hunt and Hill. Russell Shepard joins the show, and it's time for another Throwback Thursday. Hunt and Hill, noon to 2 weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back in OTB Football Friday edition. It's Friday, it's 9:30, so you know what that means. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Megan Making Money, Barstool Sports, joins us now. Megan, how you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you, Mr. Hester?
Doing great. Glad to have you on as always. And I've got to imagine someone like you getting pretty excited that you've got something new to place a wager on coming up tomorrow. I know that an early Big Ten kick doesn't normally get our juices flowing, but you got football games to bet on this weekend.
We surely do. I haven't looked at too many. I have one in my sight. Definitely a big line to cover, but I think that Fresno State will absolutely smoke UConn. I got a minus 27.5 at the Barstool Sportsbook.
UConn didn't even play football last year. They just opted out of the complete hey, we're not going to play football. Not like a player opting out. The whole team opted out. So that might not be a bad one. I know it's a scary line, but when you haven't played football in like 2 years, that's worrisome if you're a UConn fan.
Yeah, and I feel like with the pandemic, like the cohesion has really been what separates teams. Well, not good teams because we haven't seen like a ton of great teams yet, but you know the good teams from the teams that you can tell just haven't seen each other, that haven't been around each other, that haven't had those reps and haven't had the practices. And UConn is going to be like a newborn baby out there. I have a feeling.
All right, so when we're talking football bets, and let's go ahead, let's look at the one in the Big Ten. You've got Nebraska and Illinois. Illinois last year beat Nebraska 41-23. Lovie Smith was a lame duck coach there. He already knew he wasn't going to be back, and that was a game that just did not go Nebraska's way. All that being said, Illinois is still going to be a 7-point dog at home to the team that they beat by 3 scores last year with Brett Bielema as the head coach. Do you look at a line like that and look back at last year, or do you try to hit reset, erase it all, and say, okay, no, I'm going to look and focus on this year's teams?
Well, I mean, you got to, as I said, the cohesiveness from last year. I definitely look at who's all still on the team, if coaching staff also, and a line like that kind of looks a little stinky. But I mean, you got to go back, look at see who's still there and who's playing, and if it's the same team, same cohesiveness from last year. As I said, I've used that word 3 times already this morning. I take Illinois.
All right, so your one pick though, your main pick is going to be Fresno State minus 27.5 over UConn, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I also I have a promo going right now for the Barstool Sportsbook that I took the Steelers money line this week, and if you put $50 on that, win or lose, you get a hoodie. Last week I took the Colts. So last week you got some plus money and a free hoodie. Trying to do the same this week. I know that the Panthers are going to be playing some of their starters, and I know that Haskins is going to have the job for the Steelers this week. But look, I think that he, last time he played, he had an absolute implosion with the Panthers, and I think he's ready to kind of prove himself a decent quarterback, and is even trying to fight for that number 2 over Rudolph. So I think it could be interesting, and I like Tomlin as a coach. So that one is my little plus money. I think it's a plus 143 this morning.
Okay.
Maybe that was last night. I would have to double check on that line for y'all.
Yeah, and Megan's got that information on her Twitter social media at Megan Making Money if you want to find out more information on how to get that hoodie sent to you. All right, now let's talk baseball because anytime you and I get together, we like talking baseball. It's still baseball season, even though week 0's coming. Like we all know that. We'll get to the football stuff when it really gets here. Baseball, though, I want to ask you a couple of things because we've had some losing streaks, we've had some winning streaks, and I want to know how much you pay attention to that. Like the Yankees are on an absolute heater. The Orioles, they lost 19 games in a row before they won the last 2. So when you have a streak like that, one way or the other, positive or negative, how much goes into your betting decisions when you see that?
I mean, look, I feel like baseball is definitely one of those sports or the sport. Whenever a team is feeling hot, you play that hot hand. Like when the players heat up, when the pitchers are heating up, and they're back, and the players are backing their pitchers, and it just all seems to be catching lightning in a bottle. I feel like you always have to ride that hand. Like I took the Yankees yesterday, I went 1-2, but the Yankees saved me, and that's because they have been so hot. Baseball has not been too kind to me the last couple of months, and I will say that I am extremely happy for football to come. But as we talked about, it's kind of hard for me to jump to football until it's really right in my face because baseball, God, I'm still so invested in it. My heart's in it at this point.
So once it starts, though, once football does start and games are, kicking off in like 27, 28 hours from now, will you go more baseball heavy? Will you go more football heavy? Or do you kind of play both of them about the same?
I'll play them both about the same probably for the first couple of weeks into football. And then I'm not going to lie. I mean, look, I think everybody can agree here. Once football really gets rolling, it's hard to, turn off the football to turn on a baseball game. The speeds there are just a little bit different. But of course, October's coming, so I'm not losing sight of baseball. Of course, it's still in my heart. But I will definitely be playing a little bit more football the next couple of weeks, both equally, until I get a good feel for what's going on.
All right, since there is other games, I want to ask you about this. Obviously, LSU's Week 1 opponent, UCLA, plays this week. They've got a Week 0 game against Hawaii. Like when you're picking a game like this, like we don't have a clue who Hawaii is right now. They got a new coaching staff, and we don't get a chance to see a lot of Hawaii games. Typically, if I'm watching Hawaii, it's because I'm chasing all of my losses from earlier in the day. I think we can all agree to that. So, is this a game that you would maybe put some money on when you look at UCLA? They're 17.5-point favorite. I don't know. I think I'm going to stay away from this one just because I have no clue who Hawaii is going to be and who's going to show up.
Oh, I would 100% agree with you there. You never know what you're going to get with Hawaii. I mean, that as you said, that's death taxes and betting on Hawaii to finish your night out. I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole. I know UCLA is supposed to be, pretty decent this year. So, they could go into that game ready to roll, or Hawaii could go into that game and do a little of those the Hawkers or whatever they are and just freak out. So yeah, I'll stay away from that game.
All right. So Megan, on Fridays, it's usually either before or after you come on. We slide into the weekend, brought to you by Small Sliders. I know you're a fan of walk-ons and small sliders and the burgers there. So I want to ask you what you've got coming up this weekend before we slide into the weekend.
I actually, we are planning on heading over to Destin. We planned the trip quite a long time ago. My son's birthday was yesterday. So we are headed over there. And now I guess it might be a little rainy, but it looks like we have a little bit better weather there than I would if I stayed here in Lafayette. So yeah, we're going to go over there and try to ride out this storm in Destin and have a good time. Got to make the best of a bad situation. So that's how I'm sliding into the weekend.
All right. Well, happy birthday to your son. T-Bob, who has been known as Lake Bob because he goes to the lake so much, is actually Beach Bob this weekend. I think he actually might be in the same area. So you and T-Bob hang out at the beach, and don't worry, we'll hunker down here and just ride out this hurricane.
All righty. And y'all stay safe, you and your family and everybody else's family that's listening, obviously. Bring in your trash cans, your pets. Y'all know the drills.
Absolutely. There she is. You can follow along with Megan at Megan Making Money on Twitter. Megan, we always appreciate the time. Have a great weekend and a safe trip.
You as well. Also, today I got the Phillies run line, the Blue Jays run line, and the Nats money line. Just throwing that out there. Bet with caution.
Phillies, Blue Jays, Nats.
Yes, sir.
All right, Phillies, Blue Jays, Nats. I hate the Phillies. I hate the Nats, but I'm going to go with you there. So hopefully it works out.
Oh, don't kill me.
All right, have a safe trip.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, we're going to take our last break of the show. We will slide into the weekend, of course, see what the boys are up to this weekend. Also, we will have Ask the Bench brought to you by Cold Coors Light. Don't forget, we have got to get to 200 likes. We are 30 likes away from giving away a free PlayStation Madden MVP 22. Let's see if we can get there in the next, we got 13 minutes. 13 minutes to get 30 likes. We'll see if we can get there. We'll be back to wrap it up here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to therelaxationcompany.org. Once you get there, you'll find a full list of services. They do everything, right? They've got it all. In the massage game, they've got, the deep tissue. They've got the Swedish. They've got the stone massages. They've got the prenatal. They've got the raindrop therapy massage. They got it all over at The Relaxation Company. When you go to the website, you can book your appointment right there online. You choose the service that you want, who you want with the service. You select that time. It's convenient for you. It's such a great team over there at The Relaxation Company. They are going to take care of you. Great customer service. We tell you all the time, man, they'll shut the place down, have a team building workshop to make sure they have the best customer service. Check them out on Instagram as well. TRC Massage is that handle. Always have updates and specials going on there on Instagram. Or if you've got a question and you want to talk to them, well, you can pick up the phone. Give them a call, 225-725-4239. And again, therelaxationcompany.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your...
Coming up on a Friday edition of Early Line, Matt Lowe of Lindy's Sports joins the show to talk some fantasy football, and we give you all of our college football picks ahead of Week 0. Join us, 2 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
I say it every Friday. That song puts me in the weekend mood. I've still got work later today. I've still got another 3-hour show to do, but I don't care because that song puts me in a good Friday vibe.
Yeah.
And Mario, thank you for letting it breathe longer than you were comfortable with.
It's all good. Yeah. You get your face like lights up when you hear this song, man.
I love it. It's my Friday vibe.
This must have been like your victory song or something.
It's the greatest 80s song of all time. Like,
I mean,
I've always loved it.
There's a lot of candidates for that, Danny, but right now, currently, it's my favorite. Yeah. And just puts me in a good mood. Like I said, I got to work 3 hours on ESPNU, but I don't care. I'm in a great Friday vibe. Now, okay, let's go ahead and talk about those vibes before we get to Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light. And we're going to slide into the weekend, brought to you by Small Sliders. Got a storm coming, so I'm not sure exactly what everyone's weekend's plans are. The Hester boys, we, of course, football. That's all we do. We do football. Going to LSU's scrimmage on Saturday, so I'll be out there, boots on the ground. The Hester Hokies have a scrimmage potentially on Sunday, depending on what the weather does. So the Hester weekend is filled with small sliders and football. What about you, Mario?
Well, as you said, the storm can put a lot of this in flux, but assuming everything's somewhat normal, I got a couple games to broadcast a play-by-play for this weekend. Tonight, Denham Springs and Walker in the Jamboree. Very much looking forward to that. And then the Saints' final preseason game tomorrow. I don't think too many of the starters will play, but, still happy to broadcast one more preseason game before we get to the regular season. So it'll be mostly work stuff for me.
All right. Danny?
I will be in New Orleans. Hopefully it's not flooding. Fingers crossed. But, I'll be studying the film on UCLA. Deep dive.
Yeah, baby. Deep dive. Daniel Cardenas is going to do a deep dive. Hawaii, UCLA on Saturday. He's not going out. He's not worried about other things in New Orleans. He's not on the prowl for other things. He's on the prowl for the breakdown of the Bruins and the Rainbow Warriors. They are the Rainbow Warriors, 100%. Right? Yep. Yeah. Rainbow Warriors. That's what they're.
And they do the haka, like Megan said. So
I mean, Hawaii objectively can cover that spread. That's a huge spread,
Kind
man.
of there's a couple of they might be stinky, but I mean Illinois getting 7, a team they beat by 18 last year at home.
Yeah.
With Bielema.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. I kind of like that one. There's a couple I actually like on the slate, but if you want to hear the best picks, listen to Early Line with Mario and Musso later today here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wow, Hester giving me props for talking about myself. What is this? I like this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to spread the love.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just trying to spread the love. All right, that is sliding into the weekend, brought to you by Small Sliders. To wrap up the show, let's do a little Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Wheat. Ask the Bench, are you guys going to evacuate for this storm? No, we are hunkering in. The Hesters will be here in Baton Rouge. Got the generators ready, but no, not going up to North Louisiana or anything like that.
I don't know. We might evacuate. That's kind of TBA right now, but there's definitely a chance.
I'm not scared. I'm not evacuating.
Oh.
Ask the Bench, how many ranch waters has T-Bob drank so far on vacay?
Ranch waters?
Probably got 20.
Yeah.
So far.
At least.
He's knocked down at least double dozen, so 24 ranch waters. Let's see. Ask the Bench, odds Gordy makes y'all work Monday if the hurricane hits. I think if the hurricane does actually hit, then all of our focus kind of turns to Talk 107.3. So you might actually hear some of our voices on Talk 107.3 and not here on 104.5 if it is a situation where we have to have kind of emergency services. Talk's kind of where we push everything. Ask the Bench, which game are y'all most excited about this weekend? It doesn't have to necessarily be college football.
I'm most excited for Hawaii UCLA. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be paying attention to the spread, but I think, it's LSU's opponent, so there's an excuse to watch the game, some common interest there, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
All right, Danny?
Yeah, UCLA.
Oh, God, this
UCLA,
guy.
of course.
All right, I'll be different. Brighton and Everton. That's the game I'm most excited for about this weekend.
Okay.
By the way, a little update to our big deal or no big deal. Apparently, the Ronaldo to Man City deal fell completely through. He's now back on the open market, potentially a reunion with Manchester United.
Wow.
So how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd actually much rather see him there than with Man City.
Go back to where it started. That's actually not bad. Yeah, I agree.
Ask the Bench, besides a hurricane, what is the best drink to ride out a storm? Cold Coors Light, of course. Right? Right, boys? Yeah, right, boys?
Yeah, for the purpose of this
Yeah,
segment.
right. Yep.
Cold Coors Light.
Yeah, thank you.
What
Thank
about
you.
Vizzy Hard Seltzer?
Yeah, our Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet, Danny.
I real talk. I actually had one of those, and I did not expect it to be as good, but it was really.
Which
really
one?
good.
The Blue Moon?
No, the seltzer.
Oh, the seltzer.
Yeah.
The seltzer. All right. Yeah.
It was good. Had it on the beach.
Straight up.
Oh yeah.
Just out of the can. Okay.
Of course.
You know, if you had a little mixer, a little something else, it
come
can
on,
be
dude.
it. It can no. It can be something that you add into a liquor to be it is the mixer. So it's a little just a couple of recipes
Okay.
that you can mess around with there. Ask the Bench, would you rather be without power in LA heat or without heat in New England winter? Ooh, I hate being cold. Like, I despise being cold. I know you could throw blankets on. You could bundle up. You can't really do anything with no power in Louisiana heat.
Make a fire.
Yeah, you can make. You're right. Yeah. Swamp ass season. I'm going Louisiana. Heat would be worse. So I'm going to go without heat in New England winter.
That's
a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I mean, I feel like you can always make yourself warmer. It's harder to make yourself colder. So I don't know. My opinion might be different, but that's a really tough one.
Yeah, give me the cold.
That is a tough one. Ask us, how many touchdowns will Jameis Winston throw for as the #1 quarterback for the New Orleans Saints?
At least 30.
At least 30. 17 games too, boys.
Yeah, 17 games. I'll go closer to 40 because of the extra game.
All right, let me see. Let me go ahead and get the I'm going to shoot my shot, and I'm going to say he throws for 39 touchdowns.
Okay.
I like it.
39 touchdowns.
Question is how many interceptions?
Okay, that's not really
He's going to
important.
throw 45 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
If he throws for 39 touchdowns, that's a little over 2 touchdowns a game. I don't think that's ludicrous in Sean Payton's offense.
I think less than like 12 interceptions would be a good number.
All right, ask the bench. Is T-Bob actually going to be back next week, or have we lost him forever?
I wouldn't rule anything out.
Yeah, it's T-Bob, so who knows? He's Beach Bob right now.
Tune in, you'll find out.
Yeah. Let's see, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. We never got to 200 likes. We're only at 185. I really wanted to give away PlayStation. I really wanted to give away the game, but we only got to 185 likes. Maybe we can bring it back on Monday. Maybe if we get to 225 likes, we'll give away the game. We'll see. We'll see you then.
OTB, OT.
Go to Ochsner.org today, Ochsner.org. Look, I've toured all the Ochsner facilities here in Baton Rouge, on the North Shore in New Orleans, and what I can say unequivocally is that they are the best facilities that I have ever seen. The Grove here in Baton Rouge will blow you away. Like, let's say you have a nagging injury, some shoulder, knee, whatever, right? You got to go in and you got to get an MRI. I dare you to not feel like you're on a Marvel movie set when you step into this MRI machine. I mean, it looks like Tony Stark should be walking around talking to Jarvis, making weird little hand motions in the air, controlling everything. That's how advanced it is. I don't say that just what that is. It's representative of what Ochsner does, which is they invest in their facilities, they invest in their employees, and by extension, they invest in you, in your health, and getting you right once again. That's why they got urgent cares everywhere. That's why they're handing out vaccinations left and right. If you need any healthcare needs, you want Ochsner, go to Ochsner.org today.